Welcome back to TriFecta Airsoft Podcast. I'm your host, E-Rock. This episode is sponsored by SKIRMESH, Airsoft Connected. It's also sponsored by Hefe's Airsoft Solutions, a company that puts the airsoft community first. Thank you everyone for being here. Let's get to the podcast.
Can you hear me? Is it my sound okay?
It sounds awesome.
Okay, cool. I have it set up for streaming, and I wasn't sure if it sounded crazy or.
No. It sounds really good.
Okay, cool. That's good.
Yeah. You know what's really good too about Discord? Like if you go into your settings, even if you're just by yourself, whatever. If you click on that little tool icon by your name at the bottom left, you can actually test the audio and video. It's a really cool feature I had to use when I started using this mic. I would go in there, and when you talk, it echoes back to you. So it waits like a second, and so you can actually hear how your mic sounds. It's really cool. Yeah, I would go in there and test that because I'm like, I never used this mic before. This is when I first started, So, because before I had one of those. What's it called? Snowball or something? Blue snowball?
Blue snow, or blue snowball, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, I'm too animated. I can't sit and go talking to this thing right here. You know what I mean? I'm always looking around, or I talk with my hands, and I need something.
I always joke that I'm aggressively Italian because every time I tell a story, it's the deeper into it I go, the more I'm and then
exactly.
My mic mounted away from me so I can swing my hands around.
That's funny. I know. Yeah. Welcome. I am so excited for you to be here.
I'm excited to finally also be here.
Awesome.
I know we've snowballed this a few times, but
yeah, that's okay.
Life gives you lemons sometimes.
These things, a lot of people, when they see this, they don't know the process of what goes into, scheduling people on here. I have a life. You guys have a life. Most of us work outside of doing airsoft and doing whatever we're doing here. So, working, and we have friends and family and all kind of other shit going on. So, and emotions. Yeah. So there's some days I'm like, fuck, I do not feel like talking at all. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just can't shake it. I just can't get out. Sometimes you can fake it, and sometimes I can't. And I'm just like, hey man, I'm gonna have to reschedule. Okay, so.
Oh yeah, no, I feel that. Sometimes you get home from work or whatever, and it's the concept of entertaining small talk with somebody, even if it's something you enjoy, is just pulling teeth. It's terrible.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, this is cool. Your makeup looks awesome, by the way.
Thank you.
It does.
Thank you.
I just I saw your little video clip on Instagram last week, I guess, where you had done something. I think this is the first time you said it was the first time you had done it on your on that.
Yes. Yes. It's the first time I've done it ever before at all.
On anything.
Yeah. I've been in, well, not really anymore, but I was in cosmetics for 10 years.
Right.
I worked at Sephora, but I also did weddings and special events and stuff like that on the side as a freelance makeup artist. Mm-hmm. And I did that for 10 years. Uh-huh. And I recently stepped back from that because it's so retail heavy, and I just didn't, it's not that I lost passion for it. I just, between scheduling and when the pandemic happened and things were getting crazy and people weren't getting married, and it was it was a whole ordeal. So I stepped back from that and changed career fields. So it's the first time I've ever done anything including that side of my life in social media and being hey, I also do makeup, because I feel people, I'm trying to get better at integrating other aspects of my hobbies and interests into my social media, because I feel now people think I'm a 13-year-old boy who plays airsoft, and that's that's it, and it's well, I do other things too.
Right. No kidding. Oh yeah. Yeah, I have friends that in fact, I just got together with a friend of mine. We've been friends for 30 years. We knew each other. We served together in the military, so a long time ago. And we actually lived close together. It was 10 minutes apart, which is odd. But I went over to his place. Me and my wife went over to their place maybe like 3 weeks ago, or 2 weekends ago, to watch one of the hockey playoff games. So he's real big into hockey and stuff. So we went over there, and he was like, and I wore one of my hoodies. 'Cause it was a little chilly at night. He had a fire going and stuff. We were watching it outside, and I had my TriFecta hoodie on, and he's like, "Oh, you got that's a nice hoodie. You got that? You still doing something with that?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Still doing, I'm doing podcasts." He's like, "Yeah, I remember you saying something about it." And but it's like, what now? What is airsoft again? It's like, isn't it like, I'm like, yeah, just don't worry about it, bro. So
That's always like such a weird thing to explain too. Whenever someone asks what airsofting is, I'm always like, ah, that's sort of who
yeah,
you are as a person. Like me, I like meme soft, so I go to like have a good time first and like everything second. But like
right,
if you're gonna ask other people who like get very involved in this as like a LARP kind of thing or like a training event, which I totally back, and I think that's rad because
yeah,
I feel like airsoft is a great like training tool if you're into real
sure,
firearms. But it like very much depends on who you ask, and then it's like having to articulate like I take expensive toy guns and run around either in like low lighting or like a building and pretend to shoot other people. I don't like and hope that they like acknowledge that I
uh,
shot them.
right. Well, too, I think people that are on the outside that don't know anything about it, like I was not long ago, it was like 4 years ago we started a channel. Um, I feel like if they look up a video on airsoft, they're going to see, most of the time, they're going to see something that involves younger kids, right? Like 12, 13, 14 year olds, blasting each other with polar stars or something like indoor. And they go, "Oh, like that, you do that? Like what?" Like, man, look, I talk to these people, man. I love it. I think, and see, I'm the same way as a lot of you guys, as far as the this whole aspect of it is the community side, and that's what really drew me in. Even in the beginning, I was fascinated with the guns because I had no clue. It was like Christmas for me. Like I did not know that airsoft had advanced so much since I bought my kids, when they were like 10, those little, common story little springers. And so I was really fascinated that they made all these different style of guns, and especially like the mini gun and the rocket launchers and the tag-in
Yeah,
rounds and all these
it's
kind of crazy
crazy
ass shit.
now.
The thunder bees and
Yeah.
grenades, Jesus, bro. So I was really for a long time, and we were doing mystery boxes, so um, like a couple times a month. So
Mhm.
it was always fresh and new. Like we don't know what we're getting, and to me, I was had no experience in this at all. So every time we got something, I'm like, "Oh my god, this is cool." They're like, "That's a basic gun. I don't care. It looks fucking awesome." Like
My dad
so.
is every time I like include my because my dad is like a huge firearms guy, like real like fire. He's a big firearms guy. Kind of where
Gotcha.
I got that from. Like my dad really
Okay.
influenced that side of my interest like a million years ago, and so now I try to include him in my airsoft stuff because I live in a state where legally you can't own a lot of firearms that he would own in Arizona because
Yeah.
I live in California. And so I own a lot of like one by one replicas or like things that are set up very similarly and stuff like that. And so it's kind of funny to like include my dad in that because like I'll be like, "Dad, look at this like random rifle that I got," and it could be like just like a very generic like low grade, like I'm using it as like a prop or I'm okay if I drop it, but like he thinks it's the coolest shit ever. Like he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, like that looks so real."
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah.
I was, yeah, same way, man. It's so funny. Yeah, I'm still kind of like that, to be honest. When I
So,
see something
same,
new,
honestly.
like when I'm just like, holy shit, okay, this is cool.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
what is it? It was like Chris Kyle. It's like 90% of it is looking cool, right? Like,
Oh
like
right.
even if your gun isn't like the top of the line, as long as it looks cool, you're good to go. Like,
Yeah, for sure. Hell yeah. Now, how did you get into airsoft? Like
I
how long was that? Or how long ago was
so
that?
I am actually pretty new to actually playing airsoft. I've only been
Yeah.
playing for like a year, year and a half.
Okay.
before that, I dabbled a little bit. My brother was kind of into it, and like I had seen a lot of it. Like I said, like I'm into firearms, so I've kind of seen it like on a social media perspective. So I saw like a lot of influencers like Airsoft Alphons and the Desert
Oh yeah.
Fox and stuff. And I saw a lot of that on like YouTube and Instagram, and I was like, this looks really cool because it's like it's gonna like scratch that part of your brain that's like I want to go out and I want to run and gun and like Call of
Yeah.
Duty real life situation. And so I was like, oh, that's cool. But I don't really have any friends who play it. And I'm kind of like a nervous person. I overthink everything. So I was like, well, I don't really want to go to an event because I don't know anybody. And like, I don't really know
That's
what I'm
pretty common.
doing. Yeah. And it's like, and Airsoft feels so overwhelming, right? Because it's like, there's so much gear and so many guns and
Yeah.
companies. And, you know, like, do you want to like go full like Nielsen LARP? Do you want to build something crazy? Like, what is your, you know, how do you choose these things? How do you pick guns? How do you do all this? So
Yeah.
I was like, well, you know, and so I bought a Falcon battle machine actually with my first gun. Bought it, used it like twice, broke it, broke it. Decided like, okay, like I was playing in my local field. I was like, well, you know, I still feel like awkward and like kind of weird, like I don't really know what I'm doing. So then I just kind of like continued to admire it from afar. And then, like a year and a half ago, Call Sign Blue, who's been on your podcast before,
Yeah.
she lives like pretty close to me. And we
Nice.
started talking randomly on Instagram, like very randomly. She was like, "Hey, I followed your content," like, and I was like, "Oh my god, I love you!" Like, and she was like, "Well, why don't you come down and play airsoft with me?" And I was like, "Okay, like that's cool because now I know somebody, so I feel less like intimidated."
Right.
And so yeah, I went down, played airsoft with her once at Game Pod, and then got like really like that was just like the tipping point. I was like, all right, I have like at least one friend who does this, so we're good to go. Like now
Yeah.
I
For
like
real.
have someone I can use as a resource, someone that will travel with me to do events and stuff like that, and that really like solidified it, I guess, and created a
Yeah.
problem because now I have way too many expensive hobbies. Like real firearms, cosplay, vintage, and now this. Like you gotta,
Oh, that's
I
cool.
gotta draw the line somewhere in my split personality, like hobby
And those
situation.
things are expensive. All of
They're
those.
they are, and it's crazy. I remember like sitting down one night and looking at airsoft guns and being like, how is it that some of these guns are more expensive than like real guns? Like, how is it that this airsoft rifle is like
Bruh.
$800 to $900, but I can go to like the store right now and buy a Glock for like $5 or
Yeah.
like $4. Like,
It blew my mind. Oh my God. These guys, my boys came home and said, oh yeah, this gun, we got this gun in, a mystery box or something, one of the ones we'd get. And I'm like, oh, this thing's cool as shit. We test it out, and it's like, I just, I think we got an Arcturus, I know for sure. And it was all steel, it was all metal. It was an AK. It was really nice. Shot great, worked great and felt real. And we looked up the price, and I'm like, Jesus, bro, like what? I I can go and buy a Smith and Wesson 9 millimeter, like a shield or something like that, for like $280.
yeah.
Now the ammo, that's a different story. That's way
We're
more expensive.
not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that. We're gonna bypass that entirely.
For real. But I was the same way. I was so shocked. And then, we'd get something and they're like, well, of course that thing broke. It's only $260. I'm like, to me, I'm going, bro, what? Like, that's
Yeah.
pretty expensive.
You're
You
like,
know?
$260 is like maybe like like a new slide and possibly like part of an optic. Like, you know
Uh-huh.
what I mean? Like it was really crazy to like get deeper into it because like the first couple of guns I bought were like kind of inexpensive, and even the one that I run now, it's like my main, take it everywhere, it's like my Daniel Defense like AG rifle, and I take it everywhere. It's like my favorite gun right now. I want to get the
Yeah.
gas blowback version of it, but like I can't justify that right now. And especially since like I already have one that works fine, like simmer down.
Now, what is this
Um
thing? Simmer down.
chill
Calm down.
out.
Okay,
Like,
I don't need to click buy on this right now. Nope.
yeah.
Uh, So what
Literally.
is it now? A Daniel Defense?
It's an AG
Okay.
rifle. It's like an AR platform rifle. I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly what it is
Oh,
on the
okay, okay.
website,
I
but
don't think I've had seen that brand. Yeah. Or
it's
we haven't
pretty.
gotten one.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's actually pretty good. I really like it. I like I like my airsoft guns to feel very like clone to how I would
Yeah.
normally train or utilize my firearms. Because even though I am out there like making jokes and having a good time, I also I look at it from the perspective of like you're never gonna get like the ability to like kill house or CQB quite like this in the civilian
Right.
world, right? Unless you paid for it or like whatever, or somebody.
Right.
And so I like to set up my firearms as close to what I would operate with normally if I
Hmm.
was operating a real firearm. And I like this one because it's like, it's got a good weight to it. It's pretty sturdy. I fell like twice at BFLA and it held up just fine. Like,
Okay. Good.
it's a pretty solid gun.
Yeah.
It's held up pretty nicely. But so I carry that now and, yeah, I really like it. And, it's hard
No.
because I like firearms, so I want to like buy more, but
Oh yeah.
that's irrational. Like, because it's like at some point you have to you have to be like, okay, I don't
I follow
need it.
so many of those Instagram pages and channels and stuff like that, and I just see all these different guns and and then the videos where they're shooting different types of ammo and stuff, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I feel that pull all the time. I just
you're all
want to
man.
do.
What if I just ran up one credit card?
I
Like
know.
it would be okay. Like I pay it
Oh,
back.
they're talking
We can all
about,
just stand toted. Like
pay off student debt or student debt and shit. I'm like, well, how about can I just buy some guns and ammo and you pay it off for me? So just wipe it clean, okay?
you gotta like make it a business expense and like use it for
Right.
podcasts so you can write
Exactly.
it off on your tax.
No kidding. Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I've only been playing for like a year and a half, and it was mostly
Okay.
Blue got me into it. But I think I've always thought that airsoft is really like kind of cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm into that kind of like even just like regular LARPing. I think stuff like that where you
Yeah.
like put yourself in a situation where like you immerse yourself in this environment and this like mindset is
Yeah.
super cool. I think that like and so many people go like so in on this stuff. Like they have clone kits for like Dev grew from like 1992. Like
Yeah. For
you're like,
real.
how did you even get photos of that? Like to the point of like
Well,
your
hey
socks
now.
are
Okay,
accurate.
it wasn't
Like,
100 years. I was in the military in '92, so let's
right.
calm down, okay?
But like, how did you get like high enough quality images like
Right.
of these guys like out working where you're like that those are
Yeah.
the socks he's wearing. I'm gonna find them on like eBay. They're gonna be like $50, but I'm still gonna get them. It's
I
like
know.
and you see people like that, it's like, damn, that's like so cool to
It
me.
is
Like that
cool.
you sat down and you dissect, and like not only that you dissected this kid, but you had the knowledge, right, to like sit down and be like, that's what all this. Sometimes like I sit down and I'm like, what should I buy? And I'm just like, well, time. I'm like scrolling through websites, like time to see what looks cool. You know what I mean? Like all I know is this is the level of plate that I want, and like this is the
Uh-huh.
fit. So
There's so many options now. There's so many options, and there's, like you said, there's so many ways to find, like if you want to do a specific time
yeah,
period, like Polish Army 19, 85, whatever, like
yeah,
what kind of kit were they running? Like you could find this shit, and there's so many people into it that they post,
yeah.
this, hey, this is where I got this. I found this at a Army Navy store somewhere, in my town or whatever, but this is what, the original looked like. And I've actually had a few guys on here that get into that stuff. Like one of the guys is all World War II. His whole Instagram was World War II stuff. Well, he got really into like the both sides, the German stuff, the American side, and he would have like the gas mask from then. And so he posted pictures of, with his gas mask on. He said, I had to stop posting that because I started getting a lot of weird messages. I was like, what do you mean weird?
No.
He goes, oh, I didn't know. It's a fetish. And I said, what?
Oh no.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I was as flabbergasted hearing about that as I was when somebody first brought up feet pics. Okay,
Oh
I
man,
said,
just learning about the
what?
dark sides of the internet from a podcast.
And I'm sitting here going, okay, look, I spent, I was 4 years in the Marine Corps. I've tried just about every drug out there. I drank myself to death almost. Okay, experienced all kind of shit. Went overseas. I spent a year in Japan. Spent 3 months in Korea. Cold weather stuff. Like I've drank it. I've been with all these different women, whatever. Like I've experienced a lot. And then somebody brings up something like that, and I'm going, I feel so sheltered, like naive, you know?
It's like the weird dark corner of the internet where you're like, it's like you don't really think about it until someone's like, "Hey, send me like toe pics," and you're like, "What?
Yeah,
Like, send you what?"
it's so weird. Like
Yeah.
I'm just thinking to myself, out of all the people I've hung out, all the guys I've hung out with, like they have the
Not
weird
one.
sense of humor.
You're like statistically one of them had to have a gas.
At least
access,
one
right?
person
Like,
would bring up,
someone should have
yeah,
known. Like,
right. Like no one ever brought up, hey man, did you see that girl in a gas mask? I'm like, what? Like, yeah, it's hot. Like, no, it's not. What are you talking about?
well, and like you would think like the military as a whole is like subjectively. So I've come from like a military family, right? My dad has been in, my uncle was in, I have cousins who are in, whatever. And it's spanned back many lifetimes for like that. And so I like know firsthand, like dudes in the military, like a little funky, a little weird, right? Like
Right.
it's fine. It's you gotta kind of be a little off kilter sometimes with that kind of stuff. And so I told like that makes me laugh too because it's like a group of you, like a group of you guys, and not one person was like,
That's what I'm
"Hey,
saying.
feet, am I right?" Like
Yeah.
gas masks.
Like,
am I,
dude,
like,
we go out the next day and everyone's talking about these, girls they've been with, and no one ever brought up, dude, her feet were hot. Okay. Like, so yeah, I've learned a couple things that were just blew my mind. Okay. Over the last like
that's
year or
funny.
so. And so it's been interesting. I learn airsoft
Yeah,
stuff. I learn about all these different guns and gear, and then I learn all that stuff too. And I'm like,
real life
okay,
stuff. Yeah.
hey man, I'm broadening my horizons here.
It's funny. I didn't realize how much of like a feat thing that there was on the internet until I started posting more on the internet, right? Trying to grow a social media following.
Yeah.
And I will never forget, like at one point I had just like broken a milestone, and I have my DMs set up so that you have to like approve them before I get them because I was getting some weird ones.
Gotcha.
And I remember like going through my DMs and someone like asking if they could give me $50 and if I could send them like a video of me taking my boots off in full kit, just my feet. And I was like, that would be such an easy $50. That's a rabbit
Right?
hole. If you take one, then you gotta take them all. You know what I mean? Like we can't
Yeah.
go that route. Like,
Now look, if you don't overthink it, you just think about that one thing. Like, just play dumb. Like, oh sure, here, hold on. Okay, $50, bang. Okay, what I do? I just took my boots off. Whatever.
I
But it is
ammo prices are high, and I did think about that. I was like $50, like
bro, for real.
that could get me pretty far, actually.
I know my somebody on here, Alex Hillary. She's in the UK. When I first had her on, she was talking about that as well. She was like, I forget how it came up, but she's like, yeah, I post this and I get people asking me all the time, can you send me feet pics? And this is like a year and a half ago when I had her on, and I started laughing and I was like, yeah, I've heard of this, but I didn't know it was that. She's like, yeah, I get that all the time, like tons. It's like this guy asked me to put my feet in beans or spaghetti or whatever. She's like, I draw the line at spaghetti, okay? It's like, it's funny.
It's like such a weird situation too, because it's always like I could do it and like just make $50 or whatever, but then
Yeah.
it's like, but then do you have to keep doing it? Like where
Right.
where do you draw the line? Where does that
Exactly,
wormhole
yeah.
like let off? And like where does it get too weak? You know what I mean? Like where where are you like, okay, I'll put my beans or I'll put my toes in like a cheesecake, but I won't like
Yeah.
step in like water or something. You know, where do you
In a
where do
pumpkin.
you
Okay.
yeah, like yeah, I won't like put my feet in watermelon. Like where do you like draw that
Uh,
line? So that's kind of the
yeah.
only reason I've never entertained that, because I'm always like, okay, this could be like this could go weird like really
For real.
quickly.
Well, I think so. If anyone listening or watching wants to start their own feet pick OnlyFans, okay, I think the best thing is just start an OnlyFans. That way you don't have to like send individual things. You just post on there,
Yes.
and
Yes.
then if somebody wants it, they can get it. And that way you're a little more detached, right? You don't have to get those
Right.
personal messages of,
Right.
can you run spaghetti noodles through your toenails, please? And
I hate that. That's
uh,
but yeah, you could, I guess,
that's
yeah,
wild.
that would be the way to go, would be to have like an OnlyFans, so you could just like mass post like feet pics and just
Right. And
have
just
at
leave
it,
it.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I guess it's liberating. I don't know. Who knows?
I guess I'm gonna have to pass on that one. Respectfully, I'm gonna have to pass.
I mean, you are a makeup artist. You could do like some really good makeup on your feet and like make them look really.
I could make them look probably quite smooth
There you go.
and delicate
Right.
if I wanted to. I don't know that I would, but it could be possible. Like a little
I know
prosthetic
the
foot moment.
first when I first started hearing about this on this podcast, and I remember the when I got off the podcast when this thing came up, and I was like, huh, okay, I didn't know that was such a big thing or whatever. Well, so I got off the podcast. It was fairly early in the evening. I went in. My wife and I were going to sit down and watch a show or a movie or something like that. And she'll usually lay on the end of the couch. I'll sit in the middle. She'll put her feet up on my legs, and I'll rub her feet. No big deal. I've done. We've been married for 30 years, so this is like a common thing. And so I did the same thing, and I said, I'm rubbing her feet, and I'm looking at them like I'm really trying. Okay, I'm really trying. Like
Girl, can I sexualize
I'm like,
these?
no, it's not working. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I just found out that this feet pick thing is like a big deal. And she's like, really? I said, I just like I said, wiggle your toes or something. I don't know. What is it? So anyway, it's been a fun journey learning all this different stuff on here or whatever. But
I'm sure.
oh yeah. So your makeup stuff, you were into obviously before Airsoft. Were you
Yes.
into? No, it wasn't really a hobby. It was something you learned, or working as. But what other hobbies did you have before you started Airsoft? What kind of stuff did you do before that?
So aside from makeup, I play a lot of video games. Like a lot of it, probably too much video games. I probably am
Yeah.
like one of those kids like that. Like if I was like a teenager, my mom would like take my computer away because she'd be like, "All right, it's enough. Call of Duty." Also, you're up way too late, like screaming, like it's not that deep. It's Call of Duty.
Nice.
And then I sew. So I used to cosplay. I still do, kind of. But I was big on cosplay, conventions, the whole shebang. So I did that
Okay.
for like 7 years ish. Still do that, not as frequently because pandemic, and it
Yeah.
was just kind of one of those things when I transitioned my content to be more airsoft forward. Like it was like a little bit weird with the community situation. So I do it still, but not to the same extent. But I also
Do you know?
love
Oh,
like
go ahead.
history, like vintage. So you
Uh,
said World War II earlier, same kind of boat. Less, I don't have as much in terms of like uniforms and stuff like that, but I have a lot of
yeah.
like pieces. So I have like, you can't really see it, but behind me on the wall, there's like a shadow box uniform that I got for Christmas, and just like a bunch of. I'm really into that era of history, like World War II and specifically like Korean War. Those
Oh
two
yeah.
specific time periods. I don't know. I guess World War One too, because you can't have World War II without World War One. But that specific thing was like a big. I went to school for it and everything, so yeah.
Yeah.
It was a hobby, I
Okay.
guess. Hobby, almost jobby.
Right. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Well, I feel like there's a lot of, I think cosplayers, a lot of them that I met are, I feel like they're kind of history buffs, even if they're not like real history, like American history or, some other country's history or whatever, world history. it's anime history. Like they know
Mm-hmm.
animes from like 15 years ago, bro. They could tell you all the details of every character from like, an
Yeah.
episode like 10 years ago. It's like, so that's really big. I feel like that's kind of like a, history thing. But what I was going to ask is DSO Valkyrie. Do you know
Mm-hmm.
who Valkyrie? Do you follow her on Instagram, Valkyrie?
I
She's in
might.
kind of your area. Well, probably a
Mm-hmm.
lot more south, Orange County ish.
Yeah, so south, more south, but
Yeah, she
California,
goes to.
California.
I think there's at one of the LA Convention Center things or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. There's a they have a day, I guess, every month that is
Oh,
cosplay. It's all
that's
cosplay
cool.
every single month, and I had her on. I had her on a while ago, like last year, and talked to her, and then I had her on recently, like in the past couple months, and we talked about the same thing because she was going to these events and posting a lot of stuff with her different outfits. Her and her husband, they both do it together, and then they bring their son as well, and they go to these cosplay
Cute.
events. Yeah, it's
I love
awesome,
that.
dude. It's so cool. They got some really good pictures
Mm-hmm.
around that area, and then from the convention and everything, and then with them, like her by herself, and then of course her husband and her son as well. So yeah, it's always cool. I could not believe when I first started talking to people on here. My exposure was mostly, as far as airsoft, was mostly milsim stuff because that's what my sons were into. They had gone to some indoor and open play stuff, here and there, but
Mm-hmm.
they didn't really like it. They liked the full 3 day thing, the bigger commitment, the 300 on 300 force, like
The Crucible, the hero's
uh,
journey Crucible type business, as I like to call it.
yeah, right. It is, and but they like the community part. It's like everyone brings their campers and their tents and their cookout stuff, and they're
Mm-hmm.
they're drinking, they're smoking weed, it's like and they're grilling, and it's this big event that is yeah, you go play against each other, but then you all come back and you're all camped in the same area, both teams. So everyone gets to meet new people and hang out. They like that whole thing, right? And so that was a big. I guess that was mostly what I was exposed to in the beginning. So I didn't. That's who I talked with on here in the
Mm-hmm.
beginning. I talked with people that did milsims. As I
Mm-hmm.
started getting into, kind of reaching out to more and more people, I was blown away at how many people were into cosplay and uh, like vintage, but like
Reenactment.
yeah, reenactment,
Reenactment.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So like I was talking to Kyle. He runs Brotherhood Airsoft, who's down by
Mm-hmm.
San Diego, and he was like, "Yeah, I used to do." We were talking about, I made a comment like airsoft is kind of expensive. He's like, "It is, but what I used to do is way more expensive. The reenactment stuff." He said, "We used to, have to. We had events where you had to have authentic things, like they would rate your gear, and we would do, play sword fights, but with real steel swords. They weren't,
Crazy.
they were dull, but they would still hit each other with them because they had like
Yes. Doesn't sound
knight's
fun
armor
either
and
way. Yeah. Like,
yeah, right.
whack.
I know. And I was like, so what? He's like, yeah, dude, that shit is expensive as hell to have
Oh
made
yeah.
or buy or to make it. Like, so, but yeah, I started finding out all these different people that were into airsoft, were into cosplay, and all, of course, gamers. It's a real common thing. All these, we're all
They
intertwined with that
overlap. They all
for
overlap to
sure.
some extent. Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
very easy to find like an overlap there. And I
Uh
mean,
huh.
like I feel like cosplay, gaming and cosplay kind of took me in that direction of um like indulging more of like airsoft or like reaching more into the airsoft community as well,
Yeah.
like because even though I wasn't going to games, I wasn't going to events, I was like, okay, well, I can still kind of blend the two and like cosplay like Call of Duty characters, and I'm still like building my airsoft gear situation, and I'm still in this notion of like putting myself in that community without being like obviously like an active player in that community,
Yeah.
which in turn helped me like kind of like make friends in other places that were into airsoft, or like find other cosplayers who were into airsoft. And while that didn't necessarily help me with like getting off my butt and like playing and like feeling comfortable going to an event, it did
Yeah.
make it nice because it did kind of give me an idea that like I can do these things and I can blend these interests, and there are people who are into that, you know,
Hmm.
which was awesome. And that it's funny, like looking back now, I have so many friends. Like, I have a friend Chase who is so funny. Like, bless his heart. I met him when he was like 17, and I remember when I met him, he was cosplaying Rainbow Six Siege at like a con, and I didn't
Nice.
know he was like into airsoft until like recently. And he wasn't like into airsoft. He had done Milsim events before he joined the actual military.
Okay.
So like finding that out now, I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Like there's like that whole piece of like certain people that I knew from cosplay that I also just didn't know about, until I started doing more airsoft, and then they would message me and be like, hey, like you're doing more, like I want to do more airsoft, how do I get into that? And I was like, well, honestly, I'm probably the worst person to ask because I was a big baby about it, but hypothetically, if you go to your local field, you'll have a good time.
Yeah, just show up, man. Just show up. Somebody will
Yeah.
take you in and, show you the ropes. Like,
But it is funny. I will say, you mentioned like your son's like a Milsim event, like more
mhm.
so, and I like drop in like weekend games, whatever, it's fine. But I went to BFLA in March, and that's the first time I've ever been to any kind of like. It's more of like a chill sim. It's not as intensive as like Milsim West, which is
Yeah.
like I would love to do that, but I also feel like I am so like I don't know how I would fare in that instance, but um I did BFLA, and I found that I actually enjoyed that more than any like drop in like 1 day 2 hour weekend game. Like
Yeah.
I feel like I meet really cool people at these weekend games, but when I went to BFLA, I felt like I met so many more like people. I met people that I had followed on Instagram that like, I finally got to meet them in real life, or like other influencers. Like I got to meet God, like Alphonse and Leah, the tactical unicorn, and her husband Jet, who I ended up becoming friends with. And it's like a really cool. It was a different atmosphere, but in a really good way. Like it felt like, yeah, it felt like you go out on the field and like you're playing each other, but then you come back and it's like everyone's in this common area, and like they're like,
Hmm.
hey, come hang out at my tent, like let's like dick around and
Yeah.
drink, and like we're just here to party, like. And I feel like that for me was like way more enjoyable. Like I
Hmm.
would love to be able to just do those all the time, and
Right.
not necessarily have to worry about so many like drop in games, because at the end of the day, like it was a little bit more because I had to travel for it and everything, but it
Yeah.
was worth it. You know what I mean? Like in the
Right.
long run, I had such a good time, and I felt so much more like connected to the community than I ever had before. So that was really
Right.
cool.
I think that's a big difference I've seen is these mill sims like that. It's you get to experience more of the broader spectrum of airsoft, and what makes it cool
Yeah.
is like what you said, all those things you said with because you're there, you're there like more longer, right? For a longer time. And it's not just because these open plays, I mean, at the field, they're trying to, kind of get more people in. They don't want people to sit on the side waiting to play when they've paid.
Right.
So you want to swap out, you want to hurry, kind of like finish this one and then move everybody in. So it's not a real great environment unless to meet everyone and hang out, unless you get there really early, or and stay really late or whatever, and just kind of form your own group. But then again, there's not as many people there either. So
Um,
one mill sim you go to, like we went to Stonebreaker last year, and then Iron Dagger last year here in South Carolina. Stonebreaker had 700 people there, players. Okay, that's so many. It's just so many people in one area. And then Iron Dagger had about 500. So these bigger mill sims, you get to meet more people. You get to see these different teams that are together. Uh, you get to see that whole aspect. You get the more personal side, I think, because there's more downtime, right,
yeah.
outside
Well, and
of playing.
you're also meeting people who like, and I'm not saying like discrediting anybody, obviously, at a field. Like, at
Yeah.
a field, you're running into more like young kids and
Mm-hmm.
rentals and people who
Right.
are like maybe just there to like just be there. You know what I mean? Like they're not there
Yeah.
because it's like this like egregious hobby for them. They're not there because they're like, yeah, like I live and breathe this. Like,
Right.
it's very much more casual event.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas when you go to these like mil sims or even like just designated airsoft events where people are out there for like 7 hours, even if it's just like
Mm-hmm.
you're not necessarily camping. Like I know like Milsim West, you it's like a 3 day thing where
Yeah.
you guys are like you're committed like boot camp without the contract. Like,
Yeah.
it's a little bit different, but it's like you still are getting that like interaction with people who are like, yeah, like this is a big part of my life. Like I'm here
Mm-hmm.
because like I want to get out there. I'm playing for the whole 7 hours. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
my ass will be dragging later, but I'm out there like giving it the old college try. Like and so it's a different atmosphere. It's a different player.
Yeah.
And these people, I feel like a lot of them have friends they only see at these events, and it's like they are so open to making new friends because it's like they know that like they're gonna see you at the next event, or they're gonna like be able to like coordinate with you for the next event, and like hey, let's team up, or let's whatever, let's squad up, let's be on the same
Mm-hmm.
side at the very least.
Right.
Like so it's definitely, I feel like it was a cool experience in the sense that I felt, yeah, like more genuinely like this is the airsoft community, like
Yeah.
very much so in all of its good and bad, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Like, this is
Sure.
where yeah. So that
Yeah,
was
for
really
sure.
cool. A 3 day event would be really cool. I feel like that's something that I would want to work up to. I have no issues with like camping. I have no issues with like getting kind of gross and like, crawling around or getting wet in the rain or anything like
Right.
that. Like, but it's just like I feel like and I have like a baseline concept of like some military lingo and stuff like that. But I feel like that's one
Sure.
of those things where I would want to be like, okay, this is like the 5,000 acronyms that the military uses for some reason. Like, this is what they mean. Like, this is how you read a map. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I grew up in that age where it's like, yeah, at one point I did know how to read a map because like I was like on the cusp of smartphones, right? So like, you'd be like, we're going to Disneyland, like print out a map, you print out
Yeah.
MapQuest directions, you bring a map, and you
Oh
just,
yeah.
go as you go, and you hopefully get there. So it's like I know kind of how to do it, but I feel like that's one of those things where I would want to be like ready. You know what I mean? Like I got my like big girl pants on. Like we're out there. We're in it to win it. Like
Uh-huh.
I want to be able to
Well, I
like
will
be
say
set up
this:
for
those
success.
most of those mil sims, you don't now mil sim west. Yeah, you need to know a lot more of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, I guess. Um, I think more so with that, you just because you can follow the crowd. Like you're going to have a
Yeah.
squad leader. They'll tell you where to go and what to do, and they're not going to
Yeah.
use they speak mostly in layman's terms. They're not gonna,
Thank
give
God.
orders like, yeah, they're not gonna,
I'm like, hang on, let me get out my little like almanac or like my cheat sheet. I've like laminated like a little spiral
right?
bound notebook. Like, hey guys, what did
I
you say?
know.
Like,
Like, TAD, what does that mean? Oh my God.
hey Siri.
No.
Like,
Yeah. Um, so yeah, but most of the other ones, like the ones that these guys go to, and the couple that I've been to, just as press, where so Third Coast Airsoft events, and I
mhm,
know there's a handful of others that do this type of like format. They'll do a Friday
mhm,
night game, that's in the dark, and then and that's a separate ticket. The normal ticket is just for like all day Saturday, all day Sunday.
mhm.
But they'll start Saturday morning like 8, right? So kickoff 8 o'clock, and they'll play from 8 to like noon, and then they'll have a break for a few hours. Then they'll play from I think it's like dinner time, like 5-ish or so, until like 8 o'clock at night, and
Cool.
then they play a third section on Saturday, which is like a night game, another night game. So it's like 10 to or 10:30 or something like that, until midnight or 1 in the morning or something, and then
Cool.
and then Sunday is it's usually pretty casual because a lot of people, they'll buy the ticket for the whole event, but they'll only go for Saturday because if they have traveled kind of far to get there and stuff. So you lose a lot of people on Sunday, and a lot of people are just worn the hell out. You know what I mean, from Saturday.
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
it's not like 700 people, airsofters that are gamers and cosplayers. Like they're not out there training for 3 months
Yeah.
to get physically fit to go to this mill sim where they can walk 20 miles in these brand new pair of boots. Okay, they're giving you blisters.
You're like, hey, wear your boots first. Like, represent.
Oh my God. I told my
That
boys when they
stresses
were
me out, man.
the first mill sim they were going to, they said, yeah, we're going to this 3-day mill sim. And I was like, really? It's like, I didn't know any of the lingo. So I thought 3 days was a full 3 days. And they got all their new gear and stuff. And they had work boots. They've had work boots since they were like little because they would help me work in the yard, and like mow the grass. I'm like, you have to have work boots. So they had work boots as adults, but they bought new ones for the camp, like for the uniform,
Mhm.
and they never wore them before. And I said, wait,
We're like,
this is like a week before the thing. I said, you can't wear new boots to this thing. Like wear your old ones. Well, it doesn't fit my uniform. I'm like, well, then you better start wearing these like 24/7 right now
yeah.
while you're here because you're going to be hurting, man. I'm telling you.
Oh
And
yeah.
you don't want to break in new boots when you go to a mill sim. Like that's
No.
not a good idea.
No, that's like the that's like asking to like not be able to walk for like a couple weeks after. Like when they tell you to change your socks, like that's where that comes in because like
Yeah.
your feet are gonna be destroyed. Like
There's something to listen. You could be tough as hell. Okay. I'm telling you right now, anyone listening, just take my word for it. Okay. I promise you, if you get new boots, if you want to go to a mill sim or, some longer event, um, get boots at least a month ahead of time or whatever, where you can swap them out. You can wear them for like a couple hours a day, wear them to work if if it's appropriate or something, for like one day and then alternate, just slowly break them in. You could be like really, really tough, like handle a lot of pain. So let's say you get there and you have all your gear on, you have this backpack, you have all this stuff, whatever. You're not used to carrying any of this stuff. Maybe a helmet, and you're getting a headache from the helmet. Okay, they're not comfortable, right? They're
oh
heavy.
no, not
You're
at
not
all.
used to wearing them. Okay,
Yeah.
the first time we had to wear one in the military for a longer period. Oh my God, talk about a fucking nightmare. I mean, our boots are new. We're breaking in all of our gear at once. Heavy pack, it digs into your shoulders. Like these are all things that y'all have to deal with when you go to a mill sim. Your helmet, you're constantly trying to move it because it's digging into your head. It's giving you a headache. So anyway, take some time to get used to that stuff. All of these other things, you can really kind of adjust on the fly as you
Mhm.
go. To make it a little more comfortable. Let's say you're wearing a pack that's digging into your shoulders. Just kind of loosen up a little bit and move the straps over, on the edge of your shoulders for a while. Okay, kind of move it back and forth. That's fine. You're not gonna be hurting that bad from it. Your
Yeah.
boots, you cannot change anything like unless you change your boots. But
Yeah.
you can change your socks. But if those things are hurting like 2 hours, into the thing, and you still have 2.5 days left, I'm telling you, bro,
You're done. Yeah. That's
your
all
whole
she wrote,
experience is
man.
going to be ruined. Honestly, like
Yeah.
you're going to come away and go, that thing was really fun to go to, but in your mind, because pain is predominant in your head, that's takes
Hmm.
precedent over pleasure.
Well, yeah, because you're
So
gonna associate like, wow, I went to that and it was really fun, but also like, my
yes,
blisters had blisters, had blisters, had blisters. Like, I rubbed to the bone in some
it is
places. Like,
not pleasant. Okay, but yeah, for
it's
sure.
funny. I think people do like sorely underestimate like new gear because I try to because I like to wear gear to the. I'm like one of those like weirdos who like will sometimes wear gear to the range because I think it's
Yeah,
cool. Like I think one, it's a great way to train and it's heavier, so you're getting out there and you're getting a workout, right? Like
yeah,
even playing airsoft, you're getting a workout because you've got You've got your carrier, plate carrier on. You've got your mags, and God forbid you have a gas blowback anything, because some of those
Right.
mags are like 1,000,000 fucking pounds. Like my Glock mags are so heavy for no reason, and so like
Right.
and you've got your water, and like I mean, my fanny pack usually isn't too heavy because it's always full of like stupid shit. So it's like nothing use like peanut butter and like rubber bands. So it's like there's
Yeah.
nothing really in there, but like you've got a lot of gear, and I feel like people always underestimate like, hey, like that's heavy. Like you need to like, even if it's like just being like that person who like puts it on to like walk around your house or like
Yep.
do mundane stuff, you gotta get used to that, because that stuff like, because at some point you're gonna like run out of options for like adjusting it. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna be in the middle of like simulated combat, and you're gonna be like, well, my plate carrier is like suffocating me. So it's like, what am I gonna do here? It's like you can't take it off and like adjust a little stretchy things. You can't adjust the cummerbund. You can't do all this stuff to like fix it. So it's like, wear it before you go so that you know what you're getting into before you do it. That's why I always try to buy stuff like, when I first started doing it, I just bought like cheap gear, but now I buy stuff where I'm like, okay, I can like wear this for Airsoft, but I can also put like real plates in it, right? Or I can wear it to the range or whatever. The only thing I don't do that with is like my helmet. I have like a specific Airsoft helmet, because one, I'm not going to take like a heavy, like a too heavy helmet to it, like a thing, and two, like my Airsoft helmet was like $50. I can slap some different covers on it, change the color, we're good to go. Like. I don't really run like nods on it because I'm scared to bring an NVG to like an Airsoft event. So
what? You don't want to bring a $12,000 piece of equipment that could break? What?
Yeah, and I just have like I just have a PVS 14, right? So it's just a monocle NVG, right?
Those are nice.
It's not like super great. Love those. Easy to run under. Really like simple to like adapt to. It's a lot easier, I think, than like the duals. But like. And everybody was like, oh, like, just bring them. They're really sturdy. I'm like, okay, listen, I don't want to find that out on my own, first of all. Okay, this is not the government's dime. This is my dime. Right. So I'm not trying to find out, like, if I drop it or fall or whatever, are they going to be good to go? And second of all, like, my bigger concern was, like, if these get shot out, like, if by some sick twist of fate, something happens to these and these break, I will have a nervous breakdown. I will have to be hospitalized. It's a totally different atmosphere of like, shit hit the fan, and like I'm using these to like navigate some like post-apocalyptic world, right? If they break, they break. That is what it is.
Right.
That's my bad. But if I'm going to an Airsoft game and I'm just playing a night game and it's not that serious, like, and my NVGs break, I'm gonna lose it. Like, I'm going home. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
And I've heard these stories. That's the thing, and it's gonna ruin your experience there. Like, it's not gonna be fun. Like, I don't think there's any good that comes out of that kind of thing. Like,
no.
Like, okay, the good could be, I guess, if you're looking at a pros and cons list of it, is like, like you're showing off your gear when you get there. You're showing everybody.
You're flexing a little bit.
Yeah, you're flexing. All right, you got the quads, right? $20,000 quads, whatever. It looks badass. You get pictures of people, and then you take them off. Like maybe let them try them. Put the helmet on and go ahead and flip them down, try it out. But then take them off and put them in your car. Like, lock them up.
Yeah.
Like just use them for show and tell, because. One of the guys I was talking to, I can't remember, I think it was Admin Airsoft. He was like, they went, he's big into nods. And so, and a couple other people I've talked with. And, so somebody he knew, or somebody he met at the field when they went to this, shorter mill sim, wore the quads, and they were like 18 grand. Okay. And, the first like few hours of the game, they got shot out. The lens got shot out. And the dude was like flipping out. Like, I think he left the event. I can't remember what he said, but it was like catastrophic. And I was like, well, duh. Like, that's a fucking car, bro. You're wearing on your head.
Literally, you're wearing like a down payment on a house on your head.
For real.
Like, and it's
to
so
play
crazy.
A game.
Like, you can rent them. You can rent them for
you can rent them now. Mm-hmm.
And like just use them for the weekend. That's somebody else's like whatever. Yeah. Like, I don't know what the whole shebang is, like if they break or whatever when they're rental, but like At least they're not your own. Like
Yeah, I
I have
think
like
they
a
have like
dummy
insurance
one.
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I have like a dummy one that if I want to like show and tell or I want to look like cool when I like roll up to the
Yeah.
field, like I'll put my dummy ones on. They were like $40. Like if they fall or break or I lose them, it's like, well, whatever. But like I can't even imagine like going to an event and like just breaking out. And like some people, I guess, yeah, like if you're going to Milsim West and you're like you're like a squad leader or whatever, platoon leader, and like
Right.
you need them, right? Because that's like the night game isn't optional, right? You're like it's a night game and a day game. Like you're operating
Right.
in both, so you need
Mm-hmm.
them. If it's not an instance where you need them, like don't bring them. Like I mean, it looks
Right.
cool and like I love a little flex, but like bro, like you're God for because it's like worst case scenario, like they don't get broken, but what if they get stolen? Like that's almost worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like then you
Right.
can't like at least take them home and look at them. Then you have to know that somebody else has your
Uh-huh.
$20,000 quad tube sitting like on their dresser as a paperweight. You
Right.
know?
Oh. Yeah, there's now there are some options I've heard of people talking about with the protective covers for the
Mhm.
lens, you know?
You can
So,
protect them, but it's just
yeah.
I'm always like, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna. I wouldn't risk it.
why
Like
even?
if you're that desperate for like to take something, right? Like you feel like you need something. It's like go on Amazon, get one of those like cheapy little thermal
Uh-huh.
spotters or those like night vision hunting spotters. You can
Right.
mount them to like a J arm or whatever, and
Yep.
they'll be fine. They don't look as cool because it's like they're cheap, but like
Mm-hmm.
they get the job done. And if something happens to them, it's totally fine. It's like get one of those, or like if you feel like you kind of want to invest, like get a thermal optic, right? Like get something
Yep.
where it's like you can use it for something else, but also like you can protect it a little bit better. It's like
Uh-huh.
physically mounted to your firearm, so you're not going to lose it. It's not going to get stolen. Like
Right.
it's like you don't need to get like so
That's a good
crazy.
option, actually. Yeah.
It's like a 4-hour night game, dude. Like it's
Right.
not like I know that like Rangers lead the way, but I can guarantee you right now, like the U.S. Army is not sitting out here like scouting like a football team, being like, "Oh, that guy, we're gonna get him an
Oh, we're
option
picking
40
him up right
contract." Like,
now.
yeah, like sign him right now.
Oh my God, for real. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, some of the gear is sometimes it's obviously it's, certain things it's worth getting expensive stuff.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And sometimes, you have to know the difference. And these guys learn too. When they first started, they were getting some stuff and they were, trying to get all their loadouts set up and they learned sometimes by trial and error, sometimes by somebody else's trial and error because they would watch a video on it, like, which is a wonderful tool. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Do some
godsend,
research. Do some
absolute
research.
godsend.
There's so many things out there that you can do research
Yeah.
on. If you watch one, this is something actually that came up recently that somebody had posted about like YouTube influencers, airsofters doing not posting their video or not posting like a disclosure or something on their video that it was a paid for ad or something like that, or that the gun was donated kind of thing, whatever. So in that sense, like when you're doing research, don't just watch one video. Okay. Like
Yeah.
watch multiples. If you're really trying to find out about some gear, some guns, there's so many options out there. You don't have to just watch one person. You can, just scour the internet for all kind of different things. Okay. You don't need to, just watch the, the one person that, whatever, who knows. And then get mad because the thing doesn't
It
work
didn't
right.
work for you. Yeah, it
Yeah, it
didn't
didn't
work
work
for
for
you.
you. Well, that's the other thing too, is what is going to work for you and your play style.
Oh
And
yeah.
this is something that can translate over from video games. Like if you play military style video games like Call of Duty, like Division, like Battlefield, okay, you have those different classes you can set up. I used to do the run and gun. I used to do the assault rifle guy, whatever,
Right.
like years and years ago, when my reflexes were a lot better. But now I can't have fun that way because I just die, die, die. I'm just dead. You're dead.
Fun nice, fun
Um,
nice, fun nice.
oh my God, it's bad. So now I was like, I had to swallow my pride and be like, okay, I'm not good at that. Like, because it really hit me one time. I was like, I am not having fun. And this is entertainment. I'm supposed to be having fun. Okay.
Right.
Now, some of that stuff, there can be a little bit of that because you're trying to work towards something and it's, it's a nice
Right.
challenge. But
Right.
when sometimes just, for me personally, you find out your play style, figure it out. Like I became a support player. So in Battlefield, I'm the guy that throws out the ammo box things, or feeds the medic things to people and shit like that. But you can do the same thing with Airsoft, right? Figure out your play
Yeah.
style, and you'll learn that over time. But you can watch a bunch of videos on figuring this shit out. People do loadout videos. People do, what works for them. Like if you're a bigger guy and you're overweight, and you're like, okay, I don't have any of this gear. I want to get new gear that does this and that. Some of these, those chest rigs and stuff, or plate carries, especially plate carriers, they can be uncomfortable for bigger guys because that cummerbund thing, it's tight as hell if you
Oh
don't know
yeah.
how to adjust it right, and all
Oh
these
yeah.
different adjustment straps like you said earlier, those can be very constricting when you're in certain positions. So if you're
Yeah.
just standing up looking in the mirror, that's not, look, go move around, okay? Squat down, lay down, get on your elbows, like, then you go, oh shit, it's digging into my, underarm or something. Like,
Yeah.
that's when you're gonna know. Don't stand there in the mirror and go, oh yeah, this fits great. No, it doesn't. No.
Yeah, it's interesting too, like how people will like gravitate, like they will watch like just they're very set, right? They'll be like, all right,
Right.
this like these four big name influencers, I'm just gonna take from this and like do nothing else,
Yeah.
which I think is fine. But yeah, like you said, like I feel like there's like get a little deeper, like go on to like
Yeah.
Reddit, whatever you gotta do, like because yeah, there's so many options, and now with like surplus being such a big thing and stuff like that, like you have even more options, right,
That's
than
true.
like your traditional commercial civilian owned brands, right? So
Hmm.
like, you can go to like a surplus store and you can get like cool woodland like chest rigs that are from like Vietnam, like,
Yeah.
and they're gonna fit 100 million% different than like this
Right.
micro rig that you bought from like this random tactical brand, and that might work for you better based on your play style and like what you're carrying. And it's interesting. I find too a lot of people don't. It's really weird. I don't, maybe it's because I guess like being into firearms like outside of airsoft, you think about this more. But I
Yeah.
find that a lot of people don't think about like their magazine situation or like their mag setup, right? Like
Hmm.
they'll buy something that's either like supposedly like universal, or they'll buy something that they can't reindex mags into because like they bought these like really weirdly made like like pouches and stuff like that.
Like the mag barely fits in.
Yeah, and it's like
Like
you're
you've got to
yeah.
like just work, like two hand that thing to
Oh
like
yeah,
pull.
you have to like
I'm
spit
like,
on it
dude,
to like get it in
how
there.
are
Yeah,
you?
you're like
Spit on it. Hey, look now. We already talked about feet stuff, okay? No, we're talking about gun stuff now, okay?
dude, dude.
No
But yeah,
spitting.
you have to like work it in there. Yeah, like and
Right,
they'll
for
wear like
real.
these micro rigs or like these tiny little rigs that don't support it. So they're out there like trying to like reindex a mag and pull a new one to like reload, and it's like their whole
Oh, they're
system is like flying upwards because it's like not fitting right.
exactly.
And you're like,
Listen, my
come on.
my son. So my two older sons that got into airsoft and got, it's how I got started into this whole thing was, they're both big dudes. Okay. This episode is sponsored by Skirmish, the future of airsoft gameplay management. Are you ready to take airsoft to the next level? Skirmish's innovative gameplay solution keeps players and spectators engaged with real-time updates. Capture objectives, detonate targets, medic, and more at skirmish-enabled fields. Skirmish tracks every action so you don't have to. Review past games, action by action, and follow your progress in national rankings. Phones are not required. If you want to find out more, head to skirmish.net and check out episode 157 of this podcast, where I talk with the owner of Skirmish about how it started and how it works. Stay connected, my friends. This episode is also sponsored by JefesAirsoftSolutions.com. Are you looking for a company that puts the community first? Look no further than Jefes Airsoft Solutions. Their founding principle is to offer a way for players of all types to get the greatest experience possible. Their passion is to make a difference in the airsoft community and serve each of their customers with the utmost respect. Be part of the conversation by joining hundreds of fellow airsofters in their Discord server. Here you can find out about upcoming events, sales, giveaways, and more. Don't wait any longer. Join today and start enjoying all that Hefe's Airsoft Solutions has to offer. Together, we can make a difference in the community. Use the code TriFecta10 and save 10% on your next purchase at hefesairsoft.solutions.com. Some exclusions apply. They're in their 20s. They one of them 6'1", one of them 6 foot. They're both like 340 pounds. Okay, so one of my sons, when they first started out, they were trying out different kind of gear. So they're like, well, I mean, I don't really need an expensive chest thing or whatever. Like, I don't care, whatever. And so they ordered something on Amazon or whatever. They get it, and it was the sizing thing was, I mean, it was like,
so funky.
it looked like a little, it looked like a postage stamp on his chest. Okay, I said, what are you doing with that, bro? Like, what? He's like, fuck this thing. I can't even use it. Like, now luckily one of their friend JP, whatever, he's a lot smaller. He's normal size. Okay. JP's normal size. These guys are like, pretty big. So it was pretty funny though, when they went through this whole process of trying to find like off-brand stuff, and they're like, oh, I'll just go cheap on this, and they get it. It's so tiny.
Yeah, you have to be really careful what you go cheap on, because like it even if it's not even like quality necessarily, it's the sizing. The sizing will get you every single time. Yep. Every single, and it could be anything. It's everything from like pants to like actual gear. I go cheap on some stuff, like just like very baseline stuff, but I find the deeper I go, the more I'm like, all right, just bite the bullet, just get whatever. Because it's like, if you play enough, or you're playing like a more high intensity, like in a bit like a more intense environment, like a MILSIM environment, or you are into real firearms and you want something that translates well when you're on the range or you're whatever, you want something that you can rely on, and you're going to get it, and it's not going to be like, well, this is like you said, like a post-it note, like. And I have that problem with like those type of things too, but not for, like, just because I'm like bigger busted. So it's like sometimes I'll put like cheaper plate carriers on, and I'll be like, what the hell is this? Like,
what, you don't like that squished?
Yeah.
Like you get a mammogram or something. It's like
I always joke that like when I put those on, I'm always like, all right, they're buckled in and ready to go. Let's play some MILSIM.
You start walking out like the little kid in Christmas Story, where you can't move. Hey, I'm protected. I'm good. Okay.
Yeah, it's wild. I feel like luckily I feel like that's less of a problem now to some degree, because airsoft is so much more mainstreamed, right? It's so much more acceptable. There's so many more outlets for it. You have a lot
not
of
just that, it's the hunting environment as well. Like a lot more women are getting into hunting. Like it's really broadening. Well, not just women, just different sizes of people, like different types of people are getting into. Because it used to be, right, like the hunting was back in the day, was like a larger framed, like a normal size male adult, right? 5'10" to 6'2" or something, that kind of thing. That was, and now you've got guys getting into like airsoft and hunting and all these different outdoor sports that you could do that they make gear for and camo for and all that kind of stuff, and women too. So they really have opened up the market for, like, because if you go to like Cabela's or something, some of that camo stuff are very expensive, like pants and stuff, but they're high quality. Like you can find some really good stuff that they have those straps that adjust, where you can kind of make it fit like a little better. Like the inner
waistband,
right. I mean, it might not look great, so we've had this conversation before with a lot of the women I've had on here with, like, pants especially, like for
pants
different environments.
Pants are like I literally, like, if I could fight an inanimate object, it would be pants. 100%. Every day of the week. Every single day of the week.
I believe it.
men's pants, trying to find them as a woman, because it's like men are like traditionally like they have more narrow hips, like
Yep.
their waist to hip ratio is very like similar in numbers.
Well, our,
So it's
our
like,
waist is in a different spot. Like it's
yeah, so
completely different spot.
yeah, so you're out here like, okay, I'm gonna buy men's pants, and I always have to end up like sizing to my hips to get them to fit over my hips so that I can put them on in my waist, and my hip to waist ratio is weird. So it's like I'm automatically like a disadvantage because I'm like out here buying these like 44 waist pants, being like, what am I gonna do with this? So luckily I know how to sew and I have like a heavy duty machine, so I can like
Oh,
alter my pants, thank God,
holy
because
shit.
I would be screwed otherwise. But
Oh my
like
God.
it's so like
That's a
annoying
lot of
sometimes
work
to have to
though.
do that. Oh, it's so much, and like
But I'm
it's like
sure it's worth it.
yeah, sometimes the ripstop fabric is pretty shitty to sew with, to be honest with you. Like that like
Uh,
weird like fab, like that
uh-huh.
weird, yeah, once you layer that too much, going through that, I actually distinctly remember I was sewing I got like a pair of Crytek pants. I was very excited because I was like, yeah, like this is my first like name
Yeah.
brand, like expensive pants. And I got them because I was doing more like groundwork on the range, and I was like, okay, I need
Okay.
something that I can like beat the shit out of that are not gonna like rip.
Right.
Like that's where, cheap versus not comes into to
Mm-hmm.
play, because, if you're using cheap pants and you, God forbid, you like kneel on something that's like a little sharp, you're ripping like a fat hole in your pants, right?
Oh yeah.
So get them, and I'm like, I get two different sizes. Try one, didn't work. The other one fit, but the waist was just like I could fit like my two hands like this into
Oh
it,
my
right?
God.
I was like, shit. So I'm sewing them, and I didn't have a heavy duty sewing machine at the time, and I literally broke like 4 needles trying to sew through them because the
Holy
weave of the
sh.
fabric is so funky that like
Yeah,
my machine was just having a hell of a time trying to get
I'm
through it.
sure.
And I was literally like, I'm gonna just throw these pants into the fire. Like, I might as well just lit this money on fire because I was
Oh
getting
my God.
so mad. But I mean, it ended up working out fine. I got him to work. I kind of hand sewed a little bit and machine sewed the rest. But
Yeah.
it's like, that is one thing I hope to God, like, as airsoft expands more, right? As more girls and women get into
Yeah.
airsoft as a sport and become like more prominent enough, I guess, where these companies will think like, okay, there's a need for it, right? Because
Right.
there's multiple, female influencers out there like doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
I hope that they will like not only release women's pants, but like release like good women's pants, like not
Uh-huh.
like any of this like low rise tactical nonsense where it's like the pockets are funky and they fall like, you know like 5 inches below your belly button, and like God
Mm-hmm.
for you have to wear a belt, but it's just so like your butt crack doesn't like fly out, like, you know what I mean? Like it's one of those. I hope that like we get like just a good pair of women's pants that don't run weird sizing, that fit higher waist, and do not, for the love of God, cost like $700.
No
Like
shit. Well, let me
there's
ask you
because
this.
they're
You
so
you do
niche.
sewing and stuff. Would you, and like I said, this has been a topic um come up, just about every woman airsofter I've had on here, and it's and I'm always thinking like I'm not a designer. I can't, but I'm thinking because I had mentioned we were trying to figure out options. Like what would be a good option,
Mhm.
right? So like I've seen these one of the girls I talk with in Austria, she wears the spandex. So, but they're like winter spandex, so they're really thick. So they are hot, but typically it's a little colder, when she goes play.
Mhm.
And so, but the knees aren't really, so she kneels down, it's gonna like it wears out quickly.
Yeah.
But they fit great, very flexible. Obviously, they're like yoga pants, whatever, and and they look good. She likes how they look. She looks good in them or whatever on the field. So, but they will wear out quickly.
Yeah.
And the other thing is from your mid thigh down. I mean the whole thing is the yoga pants. You get shot in your legs, it fucking hurts, right? It
Yeah,
doesn't really provide that
it's
much of
just
a
your leg. Yeah, like
yeah.
that's what it is. Like that's just your
So
calf.
now, what if you could design? You're sewing and stuff. If you could design, so what do you think about like half and half? So the upper part, right, from like
Mhm.
mid thigh up would be spandex, or what do you call it, yoga pant style thing or whatever. And then the rest would be like heavier material. I don't know.
That would be like amazing to do, even if it wasn't like a yoga pant. If it was
Yeah.
like a blended fabric, right? Something like a cotton blend or like a polyester blend, even
Oh, they
where
have
it's like,
those.
yeah,
The
it's just,
the work pant, the guys' work pants. They have the span or the stretchy
yeah,
crotch and like
right. Well,
right.
some tactile pants will have that. They'll have like that
Yeah.
like strip of like stretchy fabric that's
Uh
like,
huh.
yeah, like on the upper thigh or whatever.
Yep.
But on women, it's not placed well enough where it's like that's gonna
Ah.
assist me in doing literally anything, because it's like weird. Like I don't have like the situation going on down there where I need to position it where I need the stretch in that particular part of my leg.
Right.
I need the stretch more like higher up in my hips and
Uh
like,
huh.
where when I'm moving and kneeling and doing these things, like it's going to give me the range of motion that I need,
Yeah.
being, someone who is shorter and whatever. So I think it would be so cool if like there were pants where it was like the top was like a cotton blend where it's like very stretchy and very
Yeah.
movable but still sturdy, and then yeah, the rest of the pant leg being, a different fabric, whether that's like a ripstop or whatever that might be,
Right.
something that's a little more like that holds up a little bit better. I started playing in men's, they're like Wrangler cargo-y type pants.
Okay.
That's the best option I found, because they have just enough stretch where that I can like get the right size and wear them and
Mm.
they're fine and I can move in them fine and it works out.
Yeah.
It's like the men's relaxed fit Wrangler. I think it's like they're like, it's like a cargo pant. And I mean it sucks because they don't have them in camo, right? So I can't like go and get a
Mm.
multi-cam pair. I can only get like solid colors, so like black, like gray, blue, whatever. And
Right.
that's like the only alternative
Huh.
aside from like buying, men's pants in like a larger size and altering them myself,
Huh.
which like I said is fine, but it's like that it sucks that that's like where
Yeah.
it has to go, because then I have to like get my sewing machine out and like god forbid I like don't, because I'm a procrastinator by heart, like that.
Yeah.
I will always procrastinate. Like even when I was cosplaying, I would wait till the last minute to finish a project because I work better under stress, so I'm always like whatever, like just
I was
leave
gonna say
this big.
you work well under pressure. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like I know myself and I know I'll like wait till like the day before an event to be like, oh, I guess I better sew my pants, and then it's like, God forbid your meal breaks and you're going to Walmart at like, 11 p.m. being like, God, I hope they have this like niche singer needle, but it's
Oh
Walmart,
my
so you don't
God.
know, like,
Right.
and it's just, yeah, it's I so yeah, I hope that at one point or another, like maybe that, because there are like some brands out now, I don't remember what brand, but Blue told me to get them and I got them and I got them in and I was like, man, this just doesn't, because they were cut kind of funky, they were cut very petite, which is
Hmm.
fine if you're petite, but cannot relate. So I was like, I like put them on and I was like, these just don't fit like a pair of like, higher rise jeans or, something that I would normally wear that I like to move in. So that's, I guess the fix to that is just to be like a old school blue jean operator kind of fit. But,
Right.
if I want camo pants, which I usually do, like I would love a pair of like cool tiger stripe pants or whatever,
Sure.
you have to like make sacrifices.
Well, I'm wondering, I mean, you sew, you have some experience in that. There's got to be somebody out there that I've talked with, somebody that y'all can connect with
If there is,
I
hit me
mean, for
up, DM
real,
me.
just yeah, because maybe some, collaborate with somebody and come up with a
Mhm.
design. And even if you, I mean, most things like clothing type of stuff, if somebody comes up with a new design, typically, and they're just by themselves and they're just trying out things, it's not like they have, production level machines or anything.
Right.
They'll go to the store, they'll buy certain items, they'll cut pieces out and sew pieces in and try to, cinch it
Hmm.
up here and make it, whatever, a little ruffle here or whatever. Like that's kind of how, and they just play around with it almost like an artist,
Yeah, you
on a
Frankenstein it
sketch
a little
pad.
bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you, yeah, I would, I mean, obviously it doesn't affect me personally, but I know for me working obviously in the military and then working like construction and stuff, finding good, this is having good work pants or, that are durable, that breathe. They're not so hot that, and also stretch in the right areas because even if you're not overweight, your legs, your legs sweat. When you go to bend down, the material sticks to your wet thighs, and you have to you have to stop what you're doing, reach down and pull them up so that it doesn't rip in your crotch.
Yeah.
Because it makes it tight, so because they're stuck to your legs. Now I found a fix for that when I was working. But it's hot. I bought these spandex like cyclist underwear, right? They went down past my knee. Okay, they're like compression shorts, but they went down past my knee, so they were really long. Okay, so I would wear those, and they're like some kind of neoprene. I don't know, neoprene. They're spandex or polyester stretch
They're like
thing or
a
whatever.
four-way stretch kind of situation
Yeah,
where they're like nice and thick. Yeah.
Right. And so I wore those, and then I put my work pants on over those. And I never had to they're so slick that my pants just slid around on them, so I didn't have to like mess with my pants at all, whatever. But this thing is an issue, like finding the right kind of fitting pants for outdoor stuff is a common thing. But I would love to see y'all girls having an option
Yeah.
for real.
Because I think that's like part of the reason that, I mean, obviously I can't speak for that entirely, but I think sometimes women are like intimidated, whether it's airsoft or firearms. It's like it's an intimidating hobby to get into as a girl because it's there's a lot of dudes in it, a lot of stuff, right? Like gear, clothing,
Yeah.
etc. is catered to men,
Sure.
and or fit for men. Some of it
Right.
is unisex, and obviously some of it you can make unisex, right? But
Yeah.
a lot of it isn't.
Hmm.
So it's like, if there was, I feel like if there was a more, and everyone always argues like, well, there's not a market for it. And it's like, well, there's not a market for it because these women who like want to get into it don't know where to look. So they're not buying anything because there's not a market. Like no one is
That's the
created the
thing.
market
Like,
for it.
okay,
Yeah.
so they're buying men's clothes. So if you just look at numbers from a business standpoint, then you'll say, well, no, girls are buying. Yeah, they are. They're buying
Yeah.
men's stuff. So if you look at the numbers, like men's pants, camis, okay, like those sold. Well, yeah, that's because they're duh,
Yeah.
because you don't have another option. Like,
Yeah,
start putting it.
exactly.
Somebody's got to take a chance on that. Somebody's got to get,
Yes.
just make a large and make it maybe where they had like the military camis, that we had were with the pull straps, for adjustable in a
Mm-hmm.
couple different spots. But anyway, I would love to see that. I would love to see a better option for that kind of gear. And
Yeah.
like you said earlier too, like the chest rig stuff, like something that could, would be comfortable for women that, big busted or whatever. Like you don't want
You
your
almost need something that's like curved, almost
right.
like
You got to
a,
have a molded piece in there that is
yeah.
formed that
Yeah.
holds it out. Like
You could
it's
just like
like
set them in. Yeah, you could just set your,
yeah.
set your business in there and like
I know,
step
right?
up. Yeah.
Have you seen those? There's like new underwear coming out now, and I saw this commercial. It's like
I
a
think I know what you're
pocket,
talking about.
and there's
Yeah.
like this girl holding it. She's like drops these golf balls in them. I'm like, what
Yeah.
the?
Yeah. I've
Okay,
seen those. I've seen those. So like
but anyway, you need
support underwear.
yeah,
You
you
need a
need
support
the
blanket.
chest rig stuff
Yes.
for the same thing.
And it's like it's fine. Like I make it work, and it's always funny because I always feel so weird saying that kind of stuff because I'm also very team like like girls getting into these sports. Like it's cool that like women are out here just like doing the same things that men are doing at the same
Sure.
expectations, right? And every time I say that, it's always like, oh, well, you're like wanting different expectations for women, or you're wanting special treatment because you're a girl. And I'm
No.
like, I don't want special treatment. I just want to like be able to run and not have my like chest like shoved through my spine. You know what I mean? Like that's all I'm asking for. I don't know.
There are differences in our bodies and how they're shaped in different spots. We all know
Right.
this. This is like a common thing. It's normal.
Like
It's okay to like you're not making a statement if you say that. You're not making a statement for any kind of thing that's going on or whatever. And I've said this before on the podcast too. I'm not, this is one thing I've really like about the airsoft community is it's one of the only things that I've seen so far that's like the standards are across the board, no matter what you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Which
so
I
you
think
go
is
to
great.
a field, is 14-year-olds are playing with, on the same field as 50-year-olds, guys, girls, anything, whatever. Like, and these are the rules. This is the goal, for this game, and everyone's expected to play in the rules and follow, and achieve these goals. No, like there's no certain FPS. You don't lower or higher the FPS because girls or guys on the field. Like there's nothing. Everything is across
Right.
the board.
Yo,
I
yeah, which
love
is how
that.
it
I
should
think it's
be,
awesome.
Oh yeah, it's like one of the few. I feel like one of the few hobbies or things that where you can play it as a girl, and it's not like, oh, girl in the field, like turn your hot top
Yep.
down, like you know what I mean, like
Right.
yeah,
I mean, you're still gonna have that. Like when I was talking with Englefield Echo, Chloe, she's in the UK, and she goes, yeah, the first time I went to play, they're all geared up. They play like woodland stuff, so
mm-hmm.
they're all, you can't really tell too much, if somebody's a girl or guy because they're all, have their face covered up and everything. So she got shot, and she called her hit, and the guy was fairly close. And when she did, he heard her voice and was like, "Oh, you're a girl." And he's almost like apologizing. She's like, "Dude, it's fine." Like, and I think, I mean, that's not bad. She wasn't saying it was bad or anything. She was just like, that's, because there's not a whole lot of females playing, right? It's fairly new over the last couple of years that a lot more are getting out there. It still is kind of foreign to a lot of guys. They're like, "Oh shit, it's a girl."
Yeah,
Like, yeah, yeah. Calm down, buddy. It's okay.
yeah.
It's okay. Okay.
It's
You
it's
you
funny
you can
we
talk to her and it's okay. Like,
yeah. He's like, what am I saying?
oh my god.
I've never encountered a girl. Like,
What's his name on oh god, that show anyway, I can't think of the name. Um
uh,
it's a comedy show with the four guys. Uh and the one of their friends is he cannot speak to a woman. He's super quiet unless he's
yeah,
drinking. So
yeah.
The
It's
Big Bang
funny.
Theory, that's it.
Yes, it's funny that you mentioned that too. When I went to BFLA, I'm terrified of the dentist, right? So I'm gonna preface this with that. I hate the dentist. I don't know anybody who
Yeah.
like likes the dentist, but I
Mm-mm.
terrified with the worst place. Will not go unless I have to. Whatever. So I'm
Yeah.
like very adamant. I cover like every inch of my face because I'm like I don't want my teeth shot out. I don't want any weird facial scars because I got like slapped in the face
Oh,
with
for
a
sure.
high speed traveling ball of plastic. Like I'm not doing any of that. So
Right.
I cover fully. And I remember I remember on a Saturday we had gotten in the back of like the truck because they had the military trucks that were running from spawn to parking lot or from wherever you died to
Right.
spawn. And um after like managing to get up there, right? Because they're like really I'm only 5'2", so it's like these things are really high up there. So I had to like get in the ladder and like climb up. Thank God like the
Yeah.
people there were so nice and like were helpful and everything.
Sure.
Hold your gun and everything. But you can't really tell. I have like long sleeves on. I've got like I'm fully covered, super geared, like
Right.
because I'm whatever. And so we're like sitting in the back of this truck, and I was like laughing because the guy across from us was like making jokes, and I hadn't said anything, and I like opened my mouth and like spoke, and you could like he didn't say anything, but like you could tell when someone's kind of like thrown off a little. He like kind of had to like stop for a
Like,
minute and be
oh,
like, "Wait a
what?
minute." You either haven't hit puberty or you're a girl. Like it's one or the other. And so we're like sitting there, and I keep on with like my joke. I don't even remember what it was about, but I keep on with my joke, and afterwards he's all have a nice game. And like but I could just tell like he was kind of like thrown off, and it
Uh-huh.
just made me laugh because like that's kind of like what I go for. Like when I'm out on the field, I want to look cool, but I also just want to look like everybody else. Like, I'm
Well,
not
sure,
trying to like
sure.
be out there doing anything crazy.
Exactly. You're like, hey
That's for
man, I like
Instagram.
playing, you like playing, we all like playing. Like, it doesn't matter who I am, who you are. Like,
Yeah.
we're okay. It's cool.
Well, and then when you get like out there and like sometimes I see girls in like no shade obviously, but like I'll see girls playing in like low cut shirts, and I'm like, that is so. How are you not scared? Like I would be so scared of getting like shot. Like Like, that's my main concern. I don't care what you're wearing, but like, how do you? I guess if you've played for long enough, you don't think about it. But I was like, girl, you crazy. like you're out
I
here
was
risking
talking to
life and limb.
I was talking to May. She plays like a lot of she's in Illinois, and she
Mhm.
goes the first time she went to the field, she was the only girl there, and then it's like the next time, whatever, she was still the only girl there, and until like a little bit after she was there, somebody showed up with their girlfriend, younger girl, like 16 or 17 or whatever. Same thing. She had like shorty shorts on and a crop top, and it was the indoor play, indoor field like speed soft. And she looked at her and she said, I didn't say anything to her, but I was thinking, honey, you need to go back and change, like, because you're going to be hurting. But
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to learn real quick. That's the thing.
Oh
Like
yeah, it's
you
like a
will,
learning experience.
right? Pain is the ultimate teacher. Okay,
Yeah.
get riddled. Your arms, your knuckles, your midsection, your legs. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to do that every freaking time
Oh
unless
yeah.
I guess some people would, but man,
Sorry, I have
you're.
dogs.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. This is actually the first time I've heard them. I
Oh,
can
good.
barely hear them.
Good. That's good. That's good.
Oh yeah, for real.
Sometimes they do this thing that one of my dogs will like kind of like knock or not knock, but try to get in my bedroom. So she'll like claw on my door, and my friends will
Oh,
call it Tarkov time when we're gaming because she always does it when I'm playing Escape from Tarkov. Anyway,
I was gonna say, you were talking about Call of Duty earlier,
yeah,
and kind of bringing your gear over from that. So you play Tarkov, and this is something I found recently too. Is a lot of people are wanting to, like, they'll 3D print stuff, little pieces for their guns, and they'll do all these things to make their like outfit for airsoft look like their Tarkov player.
yeah. So I have these. You can't really tell what they are, but they're the
Okay.
stims from Tarkov that I have 3D printed that I sometimes will put in my kit
Oh
for like
shit, that's nice.
decorative use because I think it looks cool.
Right.
But yeah, I play Tarkov. I'm a huge I'm like a huge Tom Clancy like nerd. Anything Tom Clancy, books, anything,
Oh really?
movies.
Do you read some
Yeah,
Clancy books?
yeah, love the Tom Clancy
Oh,
series.
dude, that's
Like right
awesome.
now, I'm reading I think God of War. I just picked it up today.
Oh
It's
shit.
like it's I'm really excited. I love Clancy, Jack Carr, like all those kind of like
Oh
military
shit, Jack
thriller
Carr.
novels. Jack Carr, love Jack
Did
Carr.
you read the
I'm completely current on all the Terminal List books. I'm waiting that new one comes out. I
I'm
think
too behind. I'm too
next
behind because he
week.
came out with that new one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so I'm a big Tom Clancy fan. So I've played like Ghost Recon. I literally
Yeah.
played Ghost Recon Wildlands into the ground,
Me
basically.
too.
I played the crap out of that
Me
one.
too.
And sometimes I'll just fire up and revisit it because a lot of my original gaming friends, we met on that game, like by
Gotcha.
complete accident. Because they do that thing where, for some missions, if you want to co-op and you don't have a party, they'll match you with just like random people.
Uh
And they
huh.
ended up doing that, and they matched me with one of my friends who I call E, and we ended up playing for like 5 hours, and then he introduced me to his like his little group of gaming friends. I've been friends with them now for like 6 years all
That's
because of a
crazy.
Tom Clancy game. Wild.
Uh huh.
But so yeah, Ghost Recon, The Division, I love that.
Oh shit.
I recently
That's my
got
jam right
in.
there. Yeah.
Oh, The Division is so good. It's gotten better. I've played it. I started playing it on PC because I had it on PlayStation for a while. And I started playing it on PC, and I like it a little bit better on PC. It's a little more. It's
Gotcha.
more visually appealing. But
Right.
yes, those. I don't know if you've ever heard of like Ready or Not. I've played a little
Yep.
bit of that.
Mm-hmm.
God, what is that other one? And there's a few other like first person shooters, but those are great because yeah, I love that it allows me to kind of go into that cosplay, hobby, but
Yeah.
also integrate my airsoft stuff, which is great
Exactly.
because I have so much of it. Like I'm able to be like, I want to build this like kit. I'm gonna just dip into my like buckets in the garage and find out, okay, I've got a plate carrier in every color, like shoes. So it's like I gotta like
Right.
pull that out, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I remember I did Ghost Recon Breakpoint. I've done like a female nomad, and I've also done one of the other like operators that is introduced in that game, Fury, and
Okay.
that was like fun because I got to do like some grease paint, which I don't usually get to work with. because it's not usually on my docket, or I got to use a lot of fake blood, got to do a lot of like fake injury because
Oh,
in
nice.
Breakpoint they're more banged up than
Right.
Wildlands, and
Mm-hmm.
so that was really 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 fun to like build that kit. And I love too that some of those games also like cater to that kind of stuff. They cater to cosplayers. They cater to airsofters because they'll put out like kit builds or whatever
Yep.
where they like talk about it. So it's like I find that you either get that where it's like Ghost Recon Breakpoint where they break down every part of the kit, or it's like Resident Evil where you're like spending 12 hours like staring at like a high res render of like a Hound Wolf squad member being like, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? Like, is this even real? Like,
For real. Oh
I
my God. Well, speaking about breaking down the all that stuff, I remember when one of the I can't remember which one it was. It was one of the Ghost Recon games that came out years ago. This is this is back when you remember Xbox came out with that camera thing called the Kinect.
yes, I do remember that very well.
So there was a Ghost Recon game that I don't actually know if they implemented it in the game itself. I know it came out at E3 when they were showing it
Mm-hmm.
off, and you could use your hands to break down your weapon. So if you want to swap out parts on your weapon, you could go in and do this thing, hand motion when you like pull it out, and the gun would all break apart and just stay there, right? And then you could pick certain things off of it. I can't remember if they ever implemented it, but yeah, they've Ghost Recon has always been kind of like a little more realistic as far as like the gear and the guns and trying to
Yes,
follow that
yes,
kind of thing. Hmm.
yes. More so than like I was having a conversation with Blue. Actually, we were talking about how it's so interesting because some of these companies like Call of Duty or Infinity Ward or whatever, Activision, like these big name like developing companies, they choose to use like airsoft gear or loadouts or things like that. And in return, sometimes they'll use like gear that does not quite clone like real life gear. So it's like you'll look at an operator and you'll be like, "That something is off," and it's
Oh,
like,
really?
"Oh, it's because this is like some of it is airsoft gear, some of it is like very makeshift or like things that they would I guess think maybe looks like airsoft gear." And it's so interesting to me because you have all these companies that exist now, like Onward Research, Haley Strategic, all these these companies that make gear,
Yeah.
and it's always so funny to me that like these brands or these games have come so far and like they want to implement this realism, but they just won't. Like their go-to is always like 511 and never like
Oh,
other gear companies,
yep.
to get like, because now I think I was watching like I was like deep in a rabbit hole one day watching how they like created the gear for Call of Duty and how they actually weather all the gear and then they scan it in. They 3D scan it in so that they
Oh,
can
shit.
animate it onto the models or onto
Right.
the characters,
Yeah.
or the mocap or whatever. And so they take like like thousands of photos. It's really cool. If you ever get a chance to watch it, it's actually really cool because
Okay.
you think like they just animate it on there, they slap it on there,
Right.
throw a little texture on, you're good to go. But it's like this huge process, and I was like, man, it's just so funny to me that like they'll go through this whole ordeal, right? This whole shebang where they're like manually weathering gear and they're trying to like, okay, if like this guy's out in the desert, like how is this gonna weather? Where is stuff gonna rub, etc., etc.
Oh
They do
my
all this, but
God.
then they won't like they won't just take it the extra mile and like be like, okay, let me step away from like this miscellaneous like random airsoft gear that doesn't have come from a brand at all. It's just like a knockoff of like something that you would normally buy.
Oh, that's
It's like
wild.
it's so interesting to me, and I was
Right.
telling Billy, it's like it's funny because it sometimes will make like building those kits in a cosplay way, it makes it kind of challenging because then you'll be like, well, this doesn't exist. This isn't like a
Mm.
real piece of gear, at least that I would like utilize well enough to buy it. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I try to alter or like change up what I'm cosplaying or the kits that I'm cosplaying based on what I would use, right? So like I'm in the process of building like Graves from Modern Warfare 2, the one that just came out. I'm in the process of like getting all of his like kit together because I think that his kit is
Gotcha.
super cool. And I was like, okay, well, one, he's not carrying like a breaching shotgun. He's not carrying like he's carrying a
Uh
breaching tool. But for some reason he still has like shotgun rounds on his like rig. I'm not gonna like
huh.
you know what I mean? Like I'm like I'm not just gonna roll around with like, two rolls of shotgun rounds
Uh
and nothing on it. So it's like, I find now, and now that I'm getting better at like finding gear, or I have more resources because I have a lot of friends now that do airsoft, or they're really into like the like milsim, or they're really in the military, or they're
Right.
really in training. I have more resources now where I can find these like look-alike gear, or I can find better alternatives.
Uh huh.
But it's so interesting to me that like,
Well,
yeah, it just moves
I
back
think a lot
around.
of people. I don't think they realized how popular it would be, or how much of an
Yeah,
interest that people had in playing a game. Like, let's say when Tarkov came out, I think that was this thing that came out of it was like what you're talking about, where people were very excited about all the little pieces down to like every little part on your gun, like everything was something that was realistic, like something that you could get in real life or whatever. And I remember like this was a selling point that gamers were talking about. When I started talking with people on here, when Tarkov first came out, I'd never heard of it. My boys started playing it, and I'm like, oh, this is back when they still lived here before they got their house and stuff. And I'm like, what game is that? And they're like, oh, it's this Escape from Tarkov. It's like, oh, I tried it out with them for a little while. It's fun. The first time I actually found, because I mentioned this scenario on the podcast here before, where the first time I played, I was walking and I was explaining where I was at and what map, whatever. I can't remember the name of the map right now, but I was telling somebody, and I walked when I spawned. I walked up. My sons were already kind of way ahead because my computer's like way slower than theirs. So I spawn and they're
huh?
already they're not standing there waiting. And so I walk up to this kind of like a slight incline, and there's like a little clearing with like a broke down like pickup truck or something, and like what looked like a little campfire that was there, that wasn't lit or anything, and it's really dark. It was like dusk. It was just light was just starting to come up, so I could see the
The
horizon through
horizon,
the
yeah.
trees, but I couldn't see anything else like on the ground and stuff. So I'm turning off. I mean, I'm sitting here in the dark, and I still couldn't really see that. Like it was so realistic. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I don't know where to go. There's no fucking compass. There's no I don't know where I'm at. This is the first time I'm on there. So I start walking out to this field, and I saw this little sign thing, but I didn't really pay attention to it. And
Oh no, I
oh
know where this is
yeah.
going.
Oh yeah. So it was a minefield. I was going
Yeah.
out of bounds, okay? And so I go, and it scared the fuck out of me, okay?
Oh yeah.
So I'm walking, and all of a sudden it just goes boom, and I was dead. And on the dead screen it shows like what parts of your body were affected and all that shit. And
Uh-huh.
I didn't know what happened. I kind of yelled, and we're all talking and whatever. My boys were like, "What happened? Is somebody coming up behind us?" I'm like, "They're like, where'd you get shot from?" I'm like, "I don't know. I was walking and I was just dead." They're like, "Where were you at?" I said, I told you I was back here. You guys are way ahead." And so I explained what happened. They started laughing. They were like, "Oh shit. Okay, you got blown up, bro. You went out of bounds." I said, "Okay."
Uh,
So,
well, and Tarkov is so funny because it's like that game is so punishing that they'll just put mines wherever they want. So like
bro.
we 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 always joke that me and another friend of mine we're always like at the end of the group, right? We're the two that are like trailing up the back, like screwing
Uh-huh.
around, like joking around. And we're on Woods, which is one of the maps in
Yeah.
Tarkov. And Woods is I already hate Woods. Like least favorite map. No idea where I'm at all times. People be like, "Well, the big rock is Sniper Rock," and I'm like, "They're all big rocks." Okay, first of
Right?
all, like okay, that doesn't tell me literally anything. And I remember we were walking like up, we were walking like on this little path, and the friend that was like sherping us or like showing us around was like, "Hey, like make sure you walk single file because there's mines on either side of this, and you'll step on them."
Oh yeah.
And luckily nobody did, but it's like Tarkov is so funny because they'll just throw that in there. They'll just be like, "By the way,
Uh-huh.
there's just random mines in woods or on shoreline or whatever. Good luck." Like you're
Yeah,
like,
good luck.
"Okay."
It is unforgiving. I mean, you lose your gear, like you lose. It is. it's funny because I feel like it's got a good balance between the realism and still makes it fun for gameplay. Like
Yes, yes.
whatever it is in there, that combination. Because there's some games that are simulator style. Like
Mm-hmm.
Arma, Arma is it's super difficult to play. I played this game years ago called Operation Flashpoint.
Mm-hmm.
It was so fucking hard. It was so hard. Like it was it just didn't they tried to make it like a simulation style for military. It doesn't translate well for gaming, and it's just, I mean, you're literally getting shot and wounded from way far away, like you would in real life. Like you don't even see the person, and in the woods or out in a field or something. So and you don't hear the shot. So it's but anyway, yeah, this Tarkov it was fun. It was a fun experience. But I think the thing that came out of it that I certainly didn't expect was what we were talking about, where all these people are excited about, oh, I want to build this like an airsoft or a cosplay or whatever
Mm-hmm.
from this game. I want to use all these things, because I can actually get this. You know,
Yeah.
it's a cool thing, that how they've done it and how people are kind of taking that on to build a character or build a loadout or something for it.
It's a little bit more accessible because they do use real,
Hmm.
real things. And sometimes some of the stuff that they use is like obviously like Russian or whatever. So it might be harder to find
Right,
like commercially, but it's not impossible, right? You can
right,
still find it. And I think that's really cool. I think too, like the attention to like your firearms and how you build things and how that affects things, the durability of your guns and stuff like that.
yeah,
I think is really cool because yeah, like a lot of first-person shooter games kind of overstep that because I think they try to like mass market in a way, like they try to make it more engaging for people who
for
maybe don't
more
care about
people.
stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's fine, but it is nice to see games kind of going in this direction of because even like Call of Duty now, as opposed to what it was a year ago, like the way you build your weapons now and you can tune them and do all these different things now, it's like it's so much more hands-on in that regard. And
Yeah.
I like that they're going that direction because I think first person shooters, like I think it is cooler to have this idea of like
Hmm.
specific gear will protect you better than other. Like doing specific things to your gun will make it more efficient than other things.
Right.
So I like that games are implementing that. If only if not necessarily from like the cosplay airsoft side, but just from like the gaming side, because it makes it more enjoyable in the sense that like you're not just playing like a mindless game where you're just spawning in, dying,
Right.
and going to the next match kind of thing.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, first person shooters have been out for so long, and there really hasn't been a whole lot of innovation in gaming,
Yeah,
for especially for first person shooters. So it's, they need to add some layers of things like that,
yeah.
especially Call of Duty, because Call of Duty has they had a history before it became really popular, uh, of being like when Call of Duty Ghost came out. That would have been Call of Duty 5, I guess.
Hmm.
It
My
was so
favorite Call
bad.
of Duty installment, yes, unfortunately.
Ghost was your favorite?
Well, Ghost was my favorite storyline wise. Ghost was my
Oh,
favorite
storyline.
storyline.
Right, right. Okay, okay.
Storyline wise, yeah.
Gotcha. I'm talking about the you're right. The I'm talking about like the multiplayer.
Multiplayer was
It
trash.
was
Yeah,
so bad. It was so bad. It
awful.
was right. Well, and the thing was, people were used to 4, which was, the first Modern Warfare
Yes.
installment, and it was just amazing.
Yeah.
Story, graphics, gameplay, voice acting. It fucking blew everybody away. And
Yeah.
and spoiler alert, in case anyone hasn't played Call of Duty 4, okay, um, your first character fucking dies.
Yeah.
Like there's some traumatic shit going on,
Yeah.
like
You get
that you
attached, and
did
then
not
you're like,
expect.
okay.
I'm like, wait, wait,
Yeah.
wait, wait, because that scene where he's crawling after the explosion thing.
Yep.
You're like, okay, so you're trying to push harder on the joystick and he won't move faster. You're like, what the fuck? And then just dead. I'm like, and
Yeah.
then oh my god, it was crazy. But they broke some boundaries with that. So there have been some really really good like storylines and characters and stuff
Hmm.
throughout the years, but they need some extra layers in
They do.
the loadout building, how you look, your aesthetics, the all
Yeah.
that kind of shit. Like add some things in there.
even like it's funny, I was talking to my dad about it. Even like the newest one, we were saying that like Ghost, for instance, the new Ghost, like he looks pretty cool. But my dad was all, if that guy was in the military, like I would have bullied him for like wearing that mask. Like he would have gotten like hazed. Like he would have gotten
Oh
bullied.
shit.
Like yeah, like there's no way that you're gonna pull up like with a spirit Halloween mask on to like an op and like people are gonna take you seriously. You know what I mean? And I was
I
like,
mean,
that's fair. Like OG, like 2009 Ghost with like the traditional balaclava was like super cool looking. Like he was
right.
very operator looking. Like it made a little more sense than like whatever the hell they put on him in this
The
last
new.
installment. Yeah, but
It's
I
funny.
do hope.
I met the guy that plays him that they
Oh
did
yeah.
the motion capture for
Uh huh.
Jammer Actual.
Uh huh.
I met him. Had him
Oh
sign one of our
cool.
airsoft guns. Uh, so he was in the he was a special ops in the Marine
Mm-hmm.
Corps. I think he's about 10 years younger than me, but
Mm-hmm.
he was yeah. So I met him at SS Airsoft here, or not here, but in Georgia, which is only
Mm-hmm.
like 2 hours from us. And so he did all the mocap and stuff for that. Yeah. Have you
Mm-hmm.
seen the memes where they make fun of the mask that he's wearing?
Yeah. Yeah.
They tag him in it all the time because it's
I
it's
love
cut off
that.
like it's like
Yeah.
right from here down. It's like
And it
nothing.
makes yeah, it just makes it look like he has such a long neck. It's
Yeah.
like so I hope that like with this, I hope that Call of Duty continues to remaster old titles because I really like I want to see them remaster Ghost so bad because I feel like now with like where animation is gone and stuff like that,
Right.
like if they don't remake it, just remaster it. So it's like because that storyline I think was so cool and engaging and like kind of different because it's like a
Right.
post-apocalyptic America. You know what I mean? It's like
Uh-huh.
it is following that idea of like what happens, God forbid, like America falls to another
Yeah.
country.
I mean,
You
it's a
know?
popular thought. We all love to
Yeah,
think, we love these shows about it. We love like Division.
yeah.
Okay, that's
Division,
about it. I mean, it's
yeah.
fun.
Division.
It's
I
fun
will
to
say
explore
though,
those ideas.
I started playing Division in the beginning of 2020,
Oh shit.
and it was so weird because like the whole theme of the
You're
game,
like,
right,
"Oh
is
my
like
God, what I'm playing on here is like what's going on out here."
I
Holy
know
shit.
the whole theme of the game is like that weird virus comes through and like wipes out a
Yes.
huge portion of, and there's like vaccine wars and all this.
Yeah.
And I remember like we're playing it, and I'm playing it with my friends, and we're sitting there, and it's like 2 a.m. So like it's already in like really late in the like it's 2 a.m. So like the thought process is already out the window. Like
Yeah,
these
so
weird,
the
yeah,
conversation goes way
yeah,
off the
like
rails.
it's
Yep.
it's like yeah, you're doomed from the start, right? Like the moment
All
it's
right.
after midnight, you're getting nothing of thought value at that point. And I remember like sitting there and we're going against one of the bosses. I think it was in like the Warlords of New York expansion pack. And we're sitting there and I'm like, and they're talking about like the decontamination zone and all the quarantine zones and stuff. And I was like, I literally was like, you guys, this is like too this is like too real right now.
Too
Like, can
it's
we play
too
something
much
else?
of what's going on right now. Like holy shit.
Yeah, it was
Uh-huh.
like very weird and like kind of uncomfortable feeling for a minute there. Now
Eerie.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, now I'm like whatever. But when I first played it, I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like
Well,
to
you're speaking about the Tom Clancy stuff. I've been reading Tom Clancy since early 90s when I got out of the military and stuff. And it was, he had written certain things about like talking about how the military and the government um, do scenarios. They run through scenarios of these types of things, like what happens if there's no electricity in a large group or a large territory for X amount of hours. And they speculate and they
yeah,
play
these
it out like,
catastrophic like failures, this
uh-huh.
catastrophic
Right,
situation.
exactly. And they see what would happen, like without transportation, like if the roads
Mm-hmm.
were, main roads were blown out, like trucking and railways and shit like that. And so the story of the division came out of one of these tests that scenarios that he knew about that because he worked with the Navy like for years, like doing to get some of his stories and stuff. So it always seemed like he had this inside knowledge. He was very well versed in a lot of the
Mm-hmm.
military, terminology and what they did. So the first division, I actually did a video on it because of how similar it was to what was going on with when COVID came out, I was like, holy shit. Like Tom Clancy predicted this shit, you know. I mean, he's not the only
Tom
one,
Clancy
but
knew. What did
he
he
knew.
know?
He knew. So I had another YouTube channel actually, not Airsoft obviously, but I had a couple of them. But one of them, it actually got taken down off YouTube. So because I was doing the stuff about like that, I did this comparison with, what
Hmm.
was in the game to the mask thing with vaccines and how the war
Yeah.
between people, the unmasks and the wear your mask, don't wear your
Yeah.
mask, like all this shit. It was there was so many
It's
similarities in those
so
in the games.
crazy.
Hmm.
It's cool.
Oh yeah,
I love that Tom Clancy and even Jack Carr, I feel like that inside experience being in, some kind of operations community, whether
yeah,
it's, however far that security clearance goes, I feel like it's cool because, like, even with Jack Carr, like, they write these stories that just toe the line. So you're like,
right.
this could be real. This
Uh
could
huh.
actually be a thing. Like,
Uh
I
huh.
remember when I first read Terminal List, I was like, I got through it and I was like, wow, that's crazy because it's like, this could easily happen, right? Like, we always like joke, like, oh, super soldiers or whatever. And it's like this whole concept of like, special forces operators being, or tier one units being like injected with this like beta blocker almost that like
Yeah.
turns off the part of your brain that like stores and compartmentalizes trauma.
Right.
Like, but it being experimental and just kind of snuck into a vaccine rotation, like
Yeah.
that feels crazy, but at the same time, you're like, am I crazy for thinking that could like being like that almost could be real?
For
Like,
real.
like
Oh yeah.
I remember like reading it and being like that, and that I feel like is what makes it so good because you're like, wow, like I never considered this an option, but now I'm like really thinking too hard about it. I'm getting a little stressed out because I'm like, damn, like are people getting cancer from
Oh
like
shit.
experimental
No,
military
no, no, look,
drugs?
look. Turn everything off. Okay.
Like,
Don't
I
watch
know,
it. Don't look at it. Just go out and play airsoft and don't worry about it. Okay.
I
Like
I know.
clear your mind.
Don't worry, I'm getting one of those free watches that I keep hearing about. I'm on a list for one of those. I don't know when I'll get it
Oh my
yet, but
God. Well, there was a movie years ago. There's been a handful of movies that have shown similar types of things like that,
Mhm.
that happened. But there was a movie years ago with that was called Soldier. It was just called Soldier, and I can't remember the name of the main actor, but he's been in a bunch of. Kurt Russell was the main
Mhm.
actor. So they showed actually. I saw the behind the scenes on it too, but they explained how they had to fight the advertising company and production company and all this stuff to keep certain scenes in there because what they wanted to show was in the future, it was we had to. They were trying to create like a more of a special force that
Mhm.
didn't care as much. Okay,
Mhm.
that would really be objective and just get the job done.
Right.
Um, so it showed like their training would be from a young, kid, like 8, 9 years old, and they would part of their training was they had to watch like Dobermans tear apart like a smaller dog. Okay, attack like this violence and gratuitous, blood and that kind of thing at a young age. And it was
Mhm.
part of their regiment. And then they also had those injections where it was like the same type of thing where it just turned off that part of your brain where you
Mhm.
you don't have compassion. You're kind of like a robot.
Mhm.
And
Little sociopathic kind of
yeah,
situation.
right. Oh my God, it was great. And they would go to these parts of the world, and so one of these things that they'd show a scenario where somebody's there's civilians run around, women and children and stuff, and they're just mowing everybody down to get to the bad guys. So they're mowing the bad guys down, but also anyone that gets in the way. So
Yeah.
I I feel like we're not that far away from something
No.
like that.
Which is
Be-
really weird to think about.
isn't it weird?
Yeah.
It's
I don't
weird.
know if I like that.
It is weird. Yeah, I don't know. But
In that regard,
yeah.
though, to loop this background to Airsoft, weird transition, but I think it would be so cool if more Airsoft events, because they do themed Airsoft events, right? Like Western
Oh, for
themed.
sure. Oh, that's
I think it would
popular.
be so cool if we did more like post-apocalyptic, like hands-on story. Like I would be 100% in if like
Yeah.
there were these very like intensely set up like
Yeah.
concepts,
Elaborate
like, constructs.
stories and
Yeah,
yeah.
like a whole
Hmm.
situation. Like the idea of like going to like a Milsim event and it's like, okay, well you picked this side, so you're like this private military contracting company and you're doing this and that and this and that, and like here are your gear colors, here's your patch, like divide yourselves up based on this kind of structure, and like this is your objective and whatever. Like I feel like that is such a cool idea, and I
Uh-huh.
hope that like airsoft going forward, I hope that continues with popularity, because I feel like that's a really cool way to not only like exercise like your imagination, obviously, which is important, but like to really like push the way that people set their gear up, because it
Right.
forces you to think beyond like practicality. You're no longer thinking like, okay, this is just a Milsim event. You're thinking like, this is a Milsim event, but I also get to look kind of cool, right? Because it's
Oh,
like
for sure.
Milsim, but like cyberpunk, like I'm
Right.
out here like building a gun, but like putting different parts on it that I would normally put into it. I'm Frankensteining
Hmm.
these different firearms, these different airsoft guns, or I'm Frankensteining these different kits because like it looks more the part. I think that's so cool, and
Uh-huh.
I hope that becomes more popular because
I do
I
too.
would be
I
down. I would
I
pay
think
any amount of money.
there's a couple of them for sure. Like Balahack, they do a lot of
Mm-hmm.
those type of events.
I've
What I
heard
really
about
like
them.
about some of those that are really in depth like that, he offers. I know that one specifically in his field. They'll do. There's a couple of different types of events that they'll do that are pretty popular that have that kind of thing incorporated into it. So they do like an old Western event or whatever.
I've seen that. I want to do that
Yeah,
so bad. I want to do that
right.
so bad.
And you have these characters that they're like NPCs. So you'll have people there that aren't actively playing airsoft. They're just like
Mm-hmm.
they're bartender in a saloon. And you might have to talk to them to get information from, like this. Uh, the Rev event, they do like the zombie stuff, they'll have zombies. They're not using airsoft guns or nothing, and they sign up to be a zombie. So, and I've heard of a couple other ones that do like a Fallout type of event, like Fallout 3 or whatever, Fallout New
Yeah.
Vegas, the same type of thing. And they'll have, these NPCs over here that you have to talk to get this information and move forward or whatever. I think more elaborate stuff like that would be, I think that's really the next step for a lot of these bigger airsoft events because
Mm-hmm.
I know that they're popular right now, like it's growing, for regular mill sims, but I think that's going to get old. I think it's going to get old if they don't incorporate new things. Like even when you go and they're incorporating like the vehicles, they'll have tanks there, they'll have the technicals there that are shooting. They'll have a Hummer or a Humvee that's shooting, a blank firing 50 cals. They
Yeah.
have mortars, that are they're not shooting anything, but it sounds like mortars going. They're really immersive. They're really immersive,
Mm-hmm.
but it's limited to there's no storyline, and
Yeah.
that's what a
There's no
lot of
like
them are missing.
objective. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like go take over this,
Yeah.
alpha.
Capture the flag. Capture the
Yep,
flag.
capture the
That's it.
flag because you're
Yeah.
just capturing this territory. It's like domination. Okay, we're gonna flip this switch in here, and we leave the timer on more on our side, then we win. Or whatever. I think that's going to get old. I think people want the immersive story stuff.
Yeah.
Like who am I on the field? Like,
Yeah. And
okay,
like,
not
what am
just
I
okay, you're
playing
part of
for?
green
Yeah.
team. Right, right. What are you playing for?
Yeah,
Um,
like what is the objective here? Because I think that's so cool to
uh-huh.
like to not because like normally I just pick my side based on like what camo I want to wear or like what color scheme I want to
Right.
wear, right? Like I'm like, okay, well
Most
I'm gonna
people
pick
do
the
that.
side that I have the most crap for, so that I'm not having to buy a bunch of stuff for this event, even though I already know I'm gonna buy
And
a bunch of stuff
so
for this
new
event.
pants.
Yeah, even though I already know I'm going into this knowing I'm still gonna like run up a bill because I'm gonna like I
Oh, for
can't
sure.
stop myself. But on the same like regard, like I think it would be really cool, and it also like makes people think, right? Like, do you want to just be like a villain, like because hey, maybe you just want to go out there and like be a bad guy, like in
That'd
a
be cool.
controlled environment, like
Why
where
not?
like where you just get to do like you just get to commit war crimes, like
Yeah.
what
That would be
why not?
awesome. That'd
Like
be awesome. I mean,
I
it's
would be
just
down. I'm not
let
saying like
loose and be this, there's no restrictions, there's no rules for you. Like, that'd be kind of cool, to incorporate some of that in there.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, because then you've got like then you could say like, okay, this other team is like an invading fighting force or whatever, and they're there to like stop this. And
Yeah.
instead of having like for that specific team, instead of having like a platoon leader or a squad leader or whatever, you have like a a guy that you have to find. Like, I'm not
Yeah.
saying we simulate like the hunt for Osama bin Laden, but I am saying like that kind of
Hey,
idea is cool. Like, you
right.
know, if you spend 3 days and you have to find this guy in the middle of a forest, like you're gonna have a good time. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that kind of, you know, taps into like other skill sets too, like that you're gonna be learning, and you know, it also encourages people to approach gameplay differently. You know, you're now maybe having to think more of like a team. You know, you're
Right.
having to approach this less as like individual friends that you came with, more of like other people you're trying to think as like a bigger unit, or you know, there's a main storyline, or you know, like with the Old West one, it's like there's currencies. So like,
Yeah.
what if you're like a private military company and you have to purchase BBs or whatever with this, you know, fake money that is
Mm-hmm.
like a deal kind of thing. So
Yeah. Bottle
I,
caps, you know.
oh yeah, I think there's so much room for that in Airsoft, and I think it would do well. And like I said, I think at some point, you know, I think these these heavy duty, these hardcore milsim events, like they will continue to cater to the same people, right? Like people who
Sure.
do these will always want to do these,
Right.
but I think you're gonna run into these people who are like, well, what else? What else can I
Yeah.
do?
Like
And
what's the biggest event you could go to? Okay, I've already been, I've played indoors, I've played Speedsoft, I've tried, this kind
yeah,
of thing, pick up games. I've gone to, let's say I went to a Milsim. Okay, I got hooked on Milsims. I went to Milsim West. Yeah, okay, I went to a bunch of them. All right, now what? Like
literally, now
what's
what? Yeah,
next?
what's the
What's the
next
next cool
what's the
thing?
next yeah what's the next like hands-on thing, because if you think about
Mm-hmm.
it, like Milton West, people like it because it's immersive, right? Like
Right.
you go and you're like getting your ass kicked, kind of like you're paying to
It's
get your
almost
ass
like a
kicked.
test. Like, hey, can I do
Yeah,
this? And also, it's
yeah,
airsoft, so it's fun. And
yeah, you're having a good time, but you're
hmm
also challenging yourself. And I
right,
think, you know, that's the appeal of that. And I think like long term, you know, if you have these events where it's like there's a story, and yeah, it might take more effort to set up, right? It might take more time to set up. Maybe you can only do one a year or one every 2 years. But I think you're gonna like reach such a broader market because you're gonna have like,
right,
it's so much more than like, all right, team A, team B, meet in the middle. Whoever has the, you know, the most men left and gets the flag like wins.
yeah,
It's like, you know, like that's
boring.
cool. But yeah, like where at what point do I have to have like a moral dilemma on an airsoft
Yeah,
field? You know what I
right.
mean? Like,
No shit, right? For real.
like at what point am I like, damn, am I a bad person?
uh, I mean, no, just for that event, you're allowed to be bad. That's
Right, right.
okay.
You're
It's
allowed to be a
okay.
bad
You get it
person
out of
just
your
for this
system.
event. Yeah, it's controlled environment, right? It's like a
You know,
simulation.
we could do the what's that movie series of movies that came out? It was like oh shit. It's like for 24 hours there's no laws.
Oh, the purge.
The Purge.
It's like the purge, but
Dude,
no one
you could do it.
actually dies. Yeah,
Right, right. You could do like an
right.
airsoft event like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be
Have
that would be cool, because then it's like, because like Milsim West, it's like, yeah, like you obviously need to learn like light discipline and stuff like that. But like in a purge situation, it's
uh-huh.
like you gotta like you gotta do even more than that. Like
Well,
because
not only
this is
that, but
like,
it's like it's
yeah.
kind of like it opens up this door of uh we're just setting this rule or
Right.
just taking away the rule, and then whatever you do, you do. Like we're not forcing someone to be a bad person. We're just taking
Hmm.
this away, and
To see
who's
what
going to come
happens.
out?
Yeah,
Yeah,
where's your human nature kind
yeah,
of
right.
situation? Where
Who's
does
going to
it
be good?
go?
Who's going to be bad? Yeah.
Milsim West, Insurgency does. It's like a similar kind of idea where they set up like a city, and for the first like 24 hours, I think, I don't know like the whole thing of it. I was gonna go, and I don't know if I'm gonna go, but it's like for the first 24 hours, nobody gets BBs. You're setting up this like civilization. So you've got
Oh,
NATO, but then you've got like, you know, clubs and currencies, and you're buying things, and
no shit.
you know, you're living like a life basically in George Air Force Base. And then you get your BBs back, and so now you are like, are you robbing banks? Are you, you know, robbing clubs? Are you
What?
on NATO? Are you in a gang? Do you have a cult? Like,
Oh, I haven't
and they
heard of
were,
this. Okay.
yeah, they were saying that like there was a cult one year where they were like kidnapping people, like,
Oh
And
my
that's like
God.
crazy. And I think that sounds so cool because it's like that
It
gives you a
does.
chance to like really like world build, which is kind of like
Oh,
nerdy in
that's
its
cool
own
as
way.
fuck.
But
I would
like,
have never guessed
yeah.
that Milsim West would put on something like that because,
I don't know
uh,
if it's exactly Milsim West, but I think it's
oh,
called like
okay.
I believe it is Milsim West. I'm not
Okay.
100% sure, but it's called
Yeah.
Insurgency, and it
Gotcha.
looks so cool. And I don't know if I'll
That
go
sounds
this
awesome.
year, but I probably will go next year. It looks really really cool.
I'll have to look that up. Okay.
That is like my dream to like be able to play a Milsim game where I'm like a cult leader. You know what I mean? Like,
No
it's like
shit,
so
dude.
much fun. Some like Far Cry 5, like kind of
Right?
situation.
Oh
Like,
my God.
you
For
know, everybody's out
real.
there in like funny like sweaters,
I'm gonna
like
wear the '70s glasses,
yeah, the
right?
big
And the
yellow ones.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, big yellow ones that just talk real soft and you
yeah, just
know
be really creepy like the whole
just
time,
creepy
just
as
like
fuck. Yeah,
just looming around, you know, like
yeah,
kidnapping
yeah.
people, being like,
And just
"I love
commanding people
you."
to kill everybody. I really
Yeah,
love you. I'm doing this for your own good. Pow!
yeah, yeah.
Oh
I
my
think that's
God,
so cool. I think that would be so much
that's wild.
fun. So yeah, hopefully that's a thing that becomes more hands on because yeah, the idea of that sounds really cool.
Yeah, it
I don't know
does.
how you go about doing this kind of events, but
I know. I
for like,
mean, hey, well, everything starts with an idea. So that's
true, very
where,
true.
it has to grow
Yeah,
from that. And logistics will fall into place if you have enough interest in people that are willing to
yeah,
do things. Yeah.
that's very
So
true.
that's cool. Well, listen, it's been awesome meeting you. I do have a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
Um, so your shirt, I couldn't really read it. And
Oh,
then, yeah, what is
it
it?
says Busted Knuckle Tactical. It's a company that I work with. Like they like have like a discount code through like an
Yeah,
apparel company. But they make a lot of cool stuff, and
I've never heard of them. What
they're
do they
like
do?
a
Like,
so they are the owner is a corrections officer who is I believe prior military, and they just do like a cool line of like shirts and like gear, like
yeah,
soft gear and stuff like
okay,
that. Um, and yeah, their shirts are really. I like it because their shirts are really soft and like durable, so I can like
nice.
roll around in the rocks and whatever. But that's what that says. I'm a big aficionado. I love to collect like cool looking shirts. So
Yeah.
when I found them, I was very excited. I think on the back of it says like the wages of sin, and it's like a guillotine or something like
Oh
that. Like
shit, nice.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's cool. Okay, awesome. And then what about your tattoos
My
on your
tattoos.
arms there? Yeah,
Yeah, so I've got this one, which is just a lipstick, and it says beauty.
awesome.
And this was a 21st birthday gift from my mom, actually, which is
Oh wow,
kind of
nice.
funny. My tattoo artist like freehanded this, which was pretty crazy.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I know. I was like,
Oh, that's
oh,
good.
okay, we're taking a chance. And then I've got this one, which I can't really. It's like a stopwatch with like a rose, and it's for my grandfather. It's like set to his birthday and all that cool stuff. It's
Ah,
got the initials. Then I've got like a feather and just breathe here on my inside of my arm. And then I have one on up here, and it's like two birds. And I always kind of forget about this one because you can never really see it, but it's like two
yeah.
birds, and it says "Believers never die."
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I
Okay.
want more, but they're expensive.
Yeah, they're expensive. I know.
Good ones are
Yeah,
expensive.
good
Yeah,
ones are expensive.
yeah.
No, luckily I got mine. I have four of them. I got mine. Well, three of them I got in the military, and one I got, just after. So it was. They were all cheap. So.
That's cool though. That's
Oh yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I got them. I got my first one when I was 18, and then I
Okay.
got the rest of them the following years. And it's funny, when I first got my first one, my dad was not having it. He was like, man, like it's fine, but why would you do that? Blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
then like 3 years ago, he got his first tattoo because he was finally like, well, they
Ah,
look really cool. I was like,
right?
oh yeah, okay.
See?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, all right.
I was never like that with our kids. My wife and I, we were never like against them getting tattoos or piercings. I didn't care,
Mhm.
whatever. And my daughter, my youngest daughter, she's actually the youngest child. She's 21. She's addicted to tattoos, bro. It is her and her husband.
It's
They
weirdly
they
addictive.
are they loved getting tattoos, and they love going to metal concerts. We've been to some metal concerts with them, and so it's always fun to see, like, we'll talked to her, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm going again for another like 3 hour session, like to fill in this other half that's like, takes up the whole side of her leg, and shit like that." So yeah, tattoos are they're fun.
They're,
They're fun to get. They're like I love getting them, and
mhm.
I guess the same as you. I would want to get more. They're just I can't see spending the money on them when I like other things are more important right now.
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
kind of where I'm
So
at. I'm like trying to move and like do all these other
yeah,
things with my life. So it's like as much as I want them, it's like it's very inconvenient. And for a while, I couldn't get them because like I had other things going on, and like I had my, I was trying to schedule like my wisdom teeth removal and everything, and I was like, okay,
right,
we gotta like put this on the back burner. I'll get more eventually, but for now,
right.
they're just there. They are
Hell
addicting
yeah.
though. Like once you get a couple of them, you're like, I need more, which
Well, they all
is
have a story too. Like most of the time
hmm
they'll have like there's a reason you're getting that particular one.
exactly,
You know.
exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I love I just think they look really they like accentuate, they look
Sure.
cool and they're very much like a reflection of your personality. Like I love
Right.
like old school style tattoos. So that's typically what I tend to lean towards, which probably plays into like the whole vintage
Hmm.
shebang. But yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's
Well,
only a
thank you
four
so
now.
much. Yeah, thank you so much
Yeah,
for joining me
of
tonight. It was
course. Yeah.
really, really great to meet you. Had a great time talking with you and getting to know you.
Yeah, great to meet you too. I really enjoy this. I'm glad that we finally got around to hanging out
Thank you.
because, yeah,
Absolutely.
I've been like, all right, I need to like because I've never been invited to a podcast. So I'm like, I need to just like
Oh,
sit
okay.
down and like make time for this because it sounds really cool. I want to be a part of this, like, So thank
Yeah,
you for asking me to chat.
absolutely. Well, tell everybody where they can find you and all your cool stuff.
Every single social media link that I have, from Instagram to Twitch to Twitter to everything in between, is at FiftyKat, FIFTYKAT_. Pretty simple. So if you find me one place, you'll be able to find me everywhere else.
Awesome. How'd you come up with that, by the way?
I it's like a joke in when I game. I always have some kind of 50 caliber weapon on me, whether it's like whatever it is. And obviously, you can't like 50 cal. It's not like a great username because it's usually taken. So I was like
Right.
50 cat, say like Katie, but like yeah. And then it just sucks. So now I can't change it because it's like, and everyone's always like, well, why don't you change it to like your like an airsoft call sign? And I was like, I don't have
Yeah.
one and two, like it's too late. Like I've already branded this.
I love it. I think it's cool. It's different. It's
Thank you.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little different, but yeah. So 50cat underscore, and you'll
Awesome.
find me everywhere.
Well, listen, I appreciate you again, Katie. Thank you so much for spending your
Yeah,
time here, and we'll do it again another time. Hopefully,
heck
maybe
yeah,
with you and Blue,
yeah. That'd be
come on
great.
together. That'd be
Blue.
awesome.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. We'll bounce idiot ideas off each other because the two of us together, it's like two brain cells rubbing together. It's like you don't get much, but you get something.
You probably get more than I got. Okay, I'll tell you that. I burnt so many over the years. Hey.
Yeah, haven't we all?
All right. Have
All
a good
right. Well,
night.
have a good night. And thank you so much again.
You're welcome. Bye bye.